Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the call. Pyle trying to make his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my mud on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy glory, fantasy excellence, all those other things. All your fantasies come true. And here we are. We're deep in the playoffs. We are neck deep in the playoffs. We don't have a game tonight, which is kind of weird. And yet we're still doing the Thursday Night Football sit-start show, except minus the football. So let's just call it the Thursday night show. And, you know, the 5 or 6 of you that are going to tune in and see us today, this is going to be just for you folks. So we hope you're having a great holiday season. We hope you had a great Christmas or whatever the hell you celebrate. Thanks for joining us if you're here. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself. Wolf, how's your break been? Did you get anything good for Christmas?
I got a new pair of Uggs, actually. I'm pumped. I haven't had Uggs in quite a few years. I tore mine to shit because I wore them so much. People can shit on Uggs all they want, but they are the most comfortable piece of footwear I have ever had. So warm. Unbelievable. So I am stoked about that. We had a great Old Planners live show just a few days ago. Great turnout. You know, everything going on. I was like, oh, no one's going to come. All this COVID's popping up, everything. Great turnout. So many friends, you know, family, everybody just coming in. We had a great crew there, so that was a blast. Sadly, it got steamrolled in my semifinals. And, like, I know I might seem a little upbeat from getting steamrolled, but it's one of those situations where, like, they put up 200. There's nothing I could fucking do. My team had a solid showing. I had no Kelsey, no Dalvin Cook. And at the end of the day, yeah, it fucking sucks. I wish so bad I was in the finals. And if you're here today, you're probably in the finals, or you're Denny Jennings and Mitch Chavez coming to say hi. And we appreciate that too, just as much. But congratulations, though, to everyone out there. I did make one of 5 leagues. I'm in 1 finals, probably the least important of the leagues. It's kind of how it goes. But it's been a fun season. It's been a crazy-ass season. I'm so happy to hopefully help some of you guys win titles. It's been a solid break, though. Been a little sick the whole time, but on the up and up right now. How about you, Truth? How was your holiday season, man?
It's been pretty good, pretty low key, which is what I was looking for the most part. My kids are starting to drive me a little bit crazy. They've been, just when they are home on a long break, the first couple days are awesome. And then by day 6 or so, you're just like completely ready for them to go back to school.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where I'm at. But anyway, it's been a good break, having a good time. My fantasy season, the timing was just terrible. Of course, eliminated from the playoffs, and my lineup would have outscored literally any other team in the league by 55 points last week.
I know you have T. Higgins because he smashed me into oblivion.
T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp had like a ho-hum 22-point game because, you know, whatever.
Worst game of the year, right?
Right. Matt Stafford did nothing. I still would have put up like 170 points. Anyway, I did have the Dolphins defense, which was like, you know, murder.
Me too.
Yeah. Wow, what a bad team the Saints are, especially with Ian Book under center. You know,
who could have seen that coming, right?
I know, seriously. Why? It's almost like the guy literally had never played with those players before.
I think the one thing we can give him credit for is he may have single-handedly expedited the COVID protocols to let more people return to the games.
Right? They're like, we can't.
Or not, who knows? But that's going to be part of our big news today. Is tons of people will be returning that we did not think would be returning this week. Right. For better or for worse, you know, that we can save that for later. But yeah, I guess should we just dive right into that then?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it right now. I mean, if you're an NBA fan or an NFL fan, obviously you're an NFL fan. If you're here, you can just go down the list of teams, and you're going to have on these basketball teams I follow, it's like 6 guys in COVID protocols on like a 15-man roster, and maybe even more. And NFL, it's like, you know what, 22 guys missing, stuff like that. Anyway, this is nuts. We're going to get into
that news real fast. We're I guess we're not rusty. I don't even know what the word would be. We're just kind of like both in no man's land of wandering without titles here. But if you don't mind already giving us that thumbs up, probably if you're already here, you already know the deal and you've already hit that thumbs up button. But if you don't already, please consider doing that. It helps us get out to more people. It's so appreciated. So thanks again for being here. And we are now. I noticed we're only about like 26 people away from getting to 2,000.
Oh, I was going to ask you
so
where we're
fucking close. I know we're in the last week here, so I don't expect it. I'm a little bummed out, to be honest. But hey, maybe, just maybe, this show will get out to more people than we imagine, or you guys can help share it out and grow that wolf pack. We're so close to 2K, though. It would be awesome to get to that goal that we set at the beginning of the year that I didn't think we had much of a shot to, and you guys really came strong wolf pack this year. So maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. I really hope so, though. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing, hitting that bell so you know when we're going to be live. We were just talking about getting live at least once a week together this offseason, just to kind of stay in touch with all you guys and talk about things that we don't normally get the free space to talk about. So we'll have a lot of good, interesting chats coming up in the offseason. So if you don't want to miss that, please consider hitting that sub, hitting that bell, so we can all stay in touch this offseason.
Yeah, we will. I promise. We'll do that. Real quick, Giuseppe Russo throwing us $5. Wolf, truth, we're in the chips. Let's win these babies. Should I start Darrell Williams, Antonio Gibson, or Eli Mitchell at tight end, Hunter Henry, or that Moreau dude, Foster Moreau? If not Waller, half-point PPR.
Hell yeah, man. Good to see you, Giuseppe. Thank you so much for the support, brother. He's been a day one Wolfpack.
I know,
legend.
it's true.
So for this question, I'm probably going with Darrell Williams. We got, 4 games so far this year without Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I was actually writing about this earlier today, and he has over 20 points in 2 of them. His lowest was 8, which, yeah, that sucks, but still, it's not like a nothing to get 8. And then he had 11 in the other one. So, that's a pretty solid boom rate. Half the time he's been like a potential week winner, and the other times he's been okay. So I think Darrell Williams in a solid matchup this week, he's got to be locked in the lineup. So that's what I would go over Gibson, who, yeah, he's been falling in the end zone. I don't really trust him much this week. Mitchell does get Houston, who's giving up the most rushing yards on the ground. I always say that, most rushing yards on the ground, which makes no fucking sense. It's inherent in what I'm saying. But most rushing yards per game is what I meant to say.
More so even than the passing yards through the air they're giving.
Passing yards through the air, exactly. But Mitchell, that is obviously a juicy as can be matchup, Giuseppe. So, it's tricky because Jeff Wilson's been playing good. I imagine he won't just disappear. We know Shanahan always loves his committees, even though this year he's been much different than we've seen in the past. With these injuries, I can't imagine they have Mitchell come right back to 30 touches a game. We have seen that this year. I think Wilson's been playing good enough lately to let them ease him back in. So to me, Darrell Williams is the best bet for 15 to 20 touches on a good offense, likely to find the end zone. And we've seen the guy like Moss people in the receiving game before. I'm going Darrell. I know you've been a huge Darrell guy all year. Do you feel any differently, Truth?
No, I mean, the guy, he's helped me a ton, and he burned me a couple times, and I would still take him in this situation.
He only burned you though when Helaire was back, right? He
burned me when Helaire was. He burned me when Helaire was back, and he had some good games even with Helaire there. And and just to be clear, the game that he burned me and did nothing in, he got at least 2 1 to 2 yard line carries that he got stuffed on. I mean, he got stuffed on both of them. So I mean, it's not like he didn't have a chance to have a good game, Right. So anyway, that's just how it fell. I would start Williams also.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the tight end question, I'm not going to Moreau. I'm done with that experiment. I know Henry's been a bag of shit these last couple of weeks, but he still has been a red zone monster all year. The highest PFF grade on tight ends in the red zone. I think he's second in tight end touchdowns so far this year. So, yeah, you're going for tight end or touchdown or bust with him, but with Moreau, you're just going for bust or bust. There's no upside.
The real question you have to ask yourself at tight end is, do you want your guy to score any points? And if you do, then you're going Henry. All right.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go quarterback news. Lamar Jackson.
We're getting more questions than I expected tonight, which I love. So
actually already have more people
keep them
watching
coming in. We love this shit. We get to keep our fantasy seasons alive through you guys. So keep them coming in. Keep all those questions in. As always, we will hit them all. And we don't have to be, I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and dilly-dally, but it's kind of nice. We don't have a game that's we got to if we get off track for a second, we're fucked. If we have 100 questions, no, we can get to all the questions and just kind of get through this at a nice pace too, which I like.
All right,
we won't waste time.
News.
We go fast anyways, so let's go.
We're like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, ankle injury. He was absent from the portion of the Ravens practice open to the media. They did activate Tyler Huntley, who, as I said last show, I consider one of the 2 best backups in the league, along with Gardner Minshew. He's off the COVID list. I don't know who's going to start, but either of these guys seems like a good option, honestly.
Yeah, it seems like Lamar, given that he was banged up in the practice tape they're showing, didn't look solid at all, and then he goes backwards after getting a limited session in. I would be calling him out, and I'd be shocked with the Ravens pretty much out of playoff contention at this point if they don't just shut the guy down for the year. That's probably what they should do. And that brings it up to Tyler Huntley, who's been very solid. I know the matchup is not great versus the Rams, one of the more solid defenses, but they're not great either. So I do think Tyler Huntley, last time out there, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, certainly has that Konami upside with 40, 45, and 73 rushing yards across his 3 starts. The guy's been solid. Now, granted, I think people are kind of freaking out and be like, lock him into your top 10 after what we saw last time. I've seen a couple people tweeting that. And let's not forget the guy had 12 and 15 in 2 of his starts. Then he did have 36. So, there is upside. There is also significant downside. Against the Rams, I have him right here at quarterback, I think 15. Yeah, 15. So, that acknowledges he has some upside, but I'd rather go to Taysom Hill. I'd rather go to Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo, although not practicing Wednesday or Thursday, was not seen today at practice. He gets Houston, the aforementioned team that gives up the most rushing yards on the ground. That's where he does his damage, though. Trey Lance had 25% of his touches go for carries. That's crazy. Cam Newton's were 18%. Taysom Hill's were 17%. This guy was running the ball in over a fourth of the time he touched it. At quarterback, that is insane. That's huge value. We'll talk about him as a Hail Mary yet again. I'll kind of rehash some of these points, but I would love to get Trey Lance in my lineups. He's a top 12 quarterback for me this week.
All right. Jimmy G, who you talked about before, he didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday.
Well, that's what I was just doing, Nat. Come on. You said we were a well-oiled machine.
We are a well-oiled machine. I thought you didn't elaborate. I mean, I didn't think you gave us the full scoop. I wanted to make sure that we were drilling at home, but I guess you said more than I thought you did. All right, fine. We'll talk about Taysom Hill, who we already talked about a little bit, right? He's off the COVID list too, which is sad for all you Ian Book fans out there.
Yeah, devastated Ian Book fans all over the place. Taysom Hill, interesting guy to discuss in the fact that he had 25, 26, and then 9 fantasy points in his 3 starts. That is a little sketchy, although Carolina clearly just has quit at this point. So I think you can put him right back into that low-end QB1 conversation with that upside to get to 20-plus points, given the Konami upside. And Jared Goff did not practice for the 2nd consecutive day. It seems to me like he's going to be out. Doesn't necessarily matter for most of you guys because who's starting Jared Goff anyways, but it does change the value a little bit for guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had a big game with Boyle anyways last week. So you don't have to be that concerned heading into this week. DeAndre Swift coming back. You'd obviously prefer Goff being there than big game Boyle, but ultimately it's not the end of the world.
Man, what do you think about the line? I mean, I don't know. Part of me is like, oh, good for the Lions win these games. But I mean, it's like, they've managed to play themselves out of getting the best draft pick yet again by winning a couple meaningless games. I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Right. Exactly.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who we talked about a little bit when we were talking about Darrell Williams' shoulder issue. He didn't practice on Thursday. That's 2 in a row. Seems pretty clear he's not going to play, and Darrell Williams is going to be the guy.
Yep, as a low-end RB1, as we were talking about for you, Giuseppe, the guy that would be my favorite in that. We mentioned DeAndre Swift with the Jared Goff news. He is practicing in full. He gets the Seahawks, who give him the 2nd most points, 2 running backs this week. It's kind of, obviously a different position than A.J. Brown, but that's why I tweeted out earlier today. I kind of treat it like this because this guy was a stud all year. And if he's practicing in full, unless we hear otherwise that he's going to get a limited workload or they're just kind of giving him a handful of touches to get him back on the field before the year ends, I imagine if he's practicing in full, we're going to get usual DeAndre Swift. And whether it's Boyle, whether it's Goff, he's right back in my lineups. He's top 12 for me this week.
Antonio Gibson moving in the wrong direction. He was limited on Wednesday and he was out on Thursday. It's not a great sign when you're talking about getting someone in. We talked about him a little bit. He was part of Giuseppe's question. Also, we've seen Patterson, we've seen Williams get some carries in his absence, and it seems like they're likely going to split the running back duties if Gibson is out, which it seems like he probably will be.
Yeah, in which case, I don't really want any of these guys. Should it be the case, Patterson's looked like a slug. If Gibson plays, I mean, could you consider him? Sure. He had 13-16 running back, 19-9, but then 3 the week before that. He's really been buoyed by finding the end zone because he hasn't topped 60 total yards in either of those games. So pretty concerning if you're putting him in there in a not a great matchup, a good D-line he's facing there. I'd be concerned. Dalvin Cook was limited in practice Wednesday, but gets upgraded to full. So you should have no concerns now. He's off the COVID list. Of course, just in time after my semifinals. But still, at the end of the day, the one thing I wanted to mention here with him is we've seen a lot of players, look at Tyreek Hill last week, come off this COVID list and not be quite in the game shape, having to take more breaks than they're usually accustomed to.
We've been seeing that across sports ever since this started.
Yes.
Like people come back and you're like, okay, they're back. And it's like, they're not really
I think we forget that. Like, it's like, yes, these guys are superhuman freaks. of all athletic nature, but they still are coming back after having symptoms, after, a lot of them needing to take more rest than they do. So as much as I expect Dalvin Cook to probably see his usual 20 to 30 touches, just keep in mind that he might be a little riskier than your usual week of Dalvin Cook. And he's just a little bit below. Normally he's like a lock number 2 for me. He's in my top 5 still, but like just keep that in mind if he has a little bit of lighter workload this week.
James Conner back in practice on Thursday. It's going to come down to the wire as a game time decision. Him playing really screwed me when I got knocked out of the playoffs. And I mean, basically he's managed to bookend that with a couple of DMPs. So again, the timing terrible for my team. It seems like it's going to come down to, game time thing. Hope you're not counting on him too much. Edmonds obviously back in the mix.
Yep, exactly. And this one actually got updated right as we were going live, that he did not practice. The reporter got corrected.
Oh, really?
Apparently he was I meant to update this on the sheet right as we were getting live. They tweeted out that he actually did not practice today, in which case Edmonds would be a smash. We saw this last week. He was the running back 6 across last week, saw 25 touches, 92% of the snaps. So keep that in mind, whether you have Connor, whether you have Edmonds, you have both. If you have both, you're probably hoping for Connor to sit so you get a nice clear cut. Edmonds is the workhorse. At this point, you got to imagine they're going to give him more of the work anyways. So definitely discouraging news if you have Connor here coming down your wire. You got to keep track of that for sure because he's still a good bet to find the end zone if he plays. Jordan Howard did return to practice after suffering that stinger during the game. We know Miles Sanders with his hand has been ruled out. So this point, given how run heavy they are, seems like Howard would be in line to start with Boston Scott mixed in for another 10 to 12 carries as well. Both of them in play this week against a bad Washington team that they steamrolled for over 200 yards the last time out.
Kareem Hunt still sidelined for Thursday's practice. He is off the COVID list, so that's a plus, I guess. But he hasn't played, much less practiced, since he actually got hurt in week 14.
Yeah, we probably won't be seeing him. And I actually do think Dearness Johnson is a Hail Mary. He's not even on my list this week, but I have him 15 spots above the ECR because he looks so damn good every time he gets the ball. Point. And he was pretty active, even with Chubb just churning it down their throat. What a fun game to watch on Christmas. Like Chubb is just so, when he's going, man, he is so exciting.
Chubb's great to watch. Baker Mayfield is terrible.
Awful. I would love to see a real quarterback get there because they have an interesting team.
He is just awful.
He is just atrocious. Yeah. 4 picks on Christmas Day. What an absolute.
Hey, I heard on another podcast, somebody said that they made the point that Baker Mayfield threw the same number of interceptions on Christmas that Aaron Rodgers has this season.
Wow. That is insane. What a stat. That's just abysmal. I think they have a 5th-year option coming up with him too. I wonder if they exercise it or not. We'll see.
Are you kidding? There's no way they could you got to get off this guy, right?
I think so too, but the 5th-year option is always like a cheaper contract. Like maybe you give him 1 more year, but no,
he's been in the league 4 years now, right? Starting for 4 years. That's a long rope, man.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't want to. No, if I'm them, I don't. But we'll see what they end up doing. And then the last running back note we got here is Rhamondre Stevenson has been activated from the COVID-19 list. Does put a little bit of, they're facing the Jags, so I think he's also in play. Obviously, Damian Harris remains in play against the Jags after a 3-touchdown effort that I knew very well. He slapped me around with that effort. But you got to think his ceiling a little bit capped here because him and Rhamondre do split pretty down the throat. 55 goes to Harris, 45% goes to Rhamondre. Whoever's in ends up capping off the drives. I don't think we'll get another 3-touchdown effort from Harris. Maybe you get 2 if you're lucky. You'll probably get 1. That's how I view that situation.
All right. Mike Evans, moving on to wide receivers. By the way, if you haven't given us a like, give us a like. If you haven't given us a subscribe, give us a subscribe. Wolf basically is begging at the beginning of the show. We need 26 more subs. If you have access to someone else's account and you'd love to hop in there and give us a quick sub, we'd sure appreciate it. Anyway, give us a like if you're here. Mike Evans, going to wide receivers. Hamstring issues, COVID issues. He did come back to practice on Thursday. Meanwhile, everyone's best friend, Antonio Brown, did not practice on Thursday. He came back for 1 game. He put up good numbers. I mean, the guy averaged, 19 to 20 points a game in the 4 games that he played. And he came back and got right around that, just kind of quietly in that game. And now he's out again. Maybe, I don't know why. They say ankle. Who knows? I mean, he's so sketchy.
Always so sketchy. But, man, if he plays, obviously he's locked in the line. 15 fucking targets his first game back. And, I mean, yes, everybody else was out. But Evans
he's heavily targeted anyway.
Exactly. It seems like Evans is probably going to play, but apparently he was looking pretty fatigued. It sounds like COVID did really impact Evans. So maybe they do rest him. They get the Jets here. So who knows? And maybe they rest all these guys. And should everybody be out, should Evans and Antonio Brown, we obviously know Godwin's already done. Well, one, Gronk would be just insane target vacuum. But two, who would be the next man up? Maybe Tyler Johnson, maybe Scotty Miller. I don't really know because Antonio Brown was all they had going in the passing game, and that's all they needed. 10 catches, 101 yards last time. I imagine, as you're saying, he's just kind of being sketchy. He'll be fine and play. But ultimately, something you got to keep monitoring for sure.
How are you feeling about the Bucks as an actual football team, not fantasy-wise? You concerned?
You should be, yes, but ultimately Tom Brady down the stretch, like how many times have we been concerned about Patriots teams that end up just turning it on when they need it most? Last year's Bucks, no one was concerned about them because no one even thought about them as true contenders, and then bam, they go on a crazy run. Like, yes, they're not trending the right way necessarily, but ultimately I'm not worried. I still think they're going to be one of the best bets to make it all the way through.
All right.
What are your thoughts? Are you worried?
The injuries are starting to add up, like in a way that is concerning me a little bit. I don't know. I guess I'll chalk the game up against the Saints as just like a fluke, and they lost everybody and whatever. But they can't ever beat the Saints. But it was so bad. Like, I mean, Brady just 3 and out, and you're just like, wow, this is garbage. And that was a little bit concerning. That I'm assuming they're going to just pound the shit out of the Jets, but we'll see. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I mean, the thing is, it seems clear to me that the Packers are the best team in the NFC, but I've seen Rodgers come up short, especially against, in these situations, just a lot of times. So we'll see what happens.
And he will again. Yeah. The man of the hour last show that we had on Thursday night, AJ Brown, Thursday Night Football. Hopefully you all started him last week. We all pretty much every single set start other than against Antonio Brown.
Yeah, we liked Antonio Brown more, who also had a good game, but nowhere near the game AJ Brown had.
No. That was the one time we were wrong on benching AJ Brown, because otherwise we said start him. Antonio Brown was the only guy we said, and he still didn't do that bad for you if you ended up going with him. But yes, over 30 fantasy points last time we saw him. He was out of practice, unfortunately, this week, but it did come out that this was more precautionary than anything. They're expecting him. He's on track, was the quote, to be playing on Sunday. So just expect this guy to go off like he always does. It is the Miami defense that has been playing is among one of the best units in the NFL right now. I don't think that matters. What we saw on Thursday was what I think they'll do the rest of the year, and that was just force-feeding A.J. Brown. His first game back, that's how they treated him. I don't think they're going to change that the rest of the year because it worked. Why would they go away from that? Unbelievable effort last time out. I think that's what we're going to see the rest of the stretch here.
Chargers activated Mike Williams from the reserved COVID list. I happen to know he's not vaxxed. And he's one of the most frustrating players I've ever had on a fantasy team. So who gives a shit? If you have if you have other options, you probably are not trying to start this guy.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup too with the Broncos. Bottom 5 matchup for wide receivers. Not a good spot for Mike Williams anyways. He's been so boom or bust. The volume hasn't been there. Ideally, you don't have to play him, but he's out there. A lot of people dropped him last week. And a lot of people dropped this guy, Gabriel Davis, as well as Cole Beasley, because they thought they might be done for the year, only for the NFL to rewrite their COVID policies in a week later. So now with Emmanuel Sanders also a do not practice this week and Davis returning, he's out there in tons of leagues right now, 23% rostered. If you're watching this, go pick up Gabe Davis. He's facing Atlanta. He had 25 fantasy points the last time we saw him. He scored 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. I think 4 in his last 3. I mean, the guy has been dynamite lately. So I would be sprinting out there. I know Isaiah McKenzie seemed like he was going to be the shoe-in monster waiver wire pickup of the week, but with Beasley and Davis likely back now, those two clearly take precedence over Isaiah McKenzie, despite that huge game we just saw.
The Packers designated Randall Cobb to return from the IR. He had core muscle surgery. I don't fully understand that, but it sounds rough.
Horrible, yeah.
Also activated Marquez Valdez-Scantling from the reserve COVID list. The Packers wide receivers core minus Devontae Adams, always just kind of like a cobbled together group, and they all really produce when they're in because Rodgers has been that good this year.
Yeah, especially as of late, Rodgers has been just on absolute fire. If I had to play one of the guys other than Adams, I think I'd lean to MVS. Saw 12 targets compared to 9 for Lazard the last time out. Cobb was also doing some damage in the red zone. But I think the only one I would actually trust would be MVS if I actually had to go to a receiver outside of Adams, who is just God himself.
Don't you kind of think, other than Adams, any of these guys, we've seen it with Randall Cobb already, but MVS, Lazard, don't you think if you sent them somewhere else, they just would be a nobody?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
Just
exactly. Exactly. You said Cobb went somewhere else for multiple seasons and did nothing anywhere else. And he was good. MVS and Lazard have been pretty crappy even with Rodgers. They only are good when Rodgers decides to look their way. Yeah, none of them would do a thing away from him.
I listened to another podcast a couple of days ago, and someone made that same point, and then they brought up, they were like, you remember Geronimo Allison?
Yeah.
And the other guy was like, no, who are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, people thought he was great. He went somewhere else. He got cut by the Lions the next year.
I mean, even I know it's tough to judge it because it was at the end of his career, but Jordy Nelson went to the Raiders for a couple seasons and did absolutely nothing. And I know that's the end of his career. I'm sure if he went there in the middle of his career, he'd do okay. But 17 touchdowns he was putting up with Rodgers, no way you'd do that with any other quarterback, I don't think.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe Tom Brady, okay. But yeah, regardless, Nelson Aguilar has a concussion. He did not participate in practice. I mean, you weren't going to use Aguilar anyways, but maybe this frees up some targets for Myers, for Kendrick Bourne, who are okay streamers given the matchup against the Jags.
Jamison Crowder did not practice on Thursday. So if you're trying to load up on that Jets aerial attack, going to give you pause probably.
Yeah. Braxton Berrios, though, has actually had a couple decent games out of the slot. 15 points last week, 8 and 10 the weeks before that. He's been okay. I really hope your fantasy title hopes are not reliant on Braxton Berrios, but I had Josh Palmer in my
or Jamison Crowder.
Something exactly. Yeah, Jamison Crowder anyways, too. But, hopefully that was not what the case is. But you never know with COVID this year. We're all starting nonsense in our flex spots throughout this year. So who knows? Maybe you need Braxton Berrios. At tight end, just 2 quick notes. Waller is on the COVID reserve list. Seemed like he was actually going to come back this week for the first time in months, only to get put on this list. Just a slap in the face to anyone that used their second-round pick on Darren Waller. Awful. I had him that was my second-round pick in 3 leagues. And
second round or third round or fourth round.
If you used to pick on him at all in your draft, he was a complete and utter one of the worst picks of the draft. And I'm not even going to chalk it up to injury. A lot of people, we got hurt. No, he sucked before he got hurt. He was useless all year.
He had one really,
an interesting
really
one
game.
To see where where does he shake out next year?
Yeah,
he was so dominant for 2 seasons, but ugh.
Who was the worst pick of the fantasy season?
He was really bad, but there's got to be a
CMC.
I mean, yeah, because first overall, just to get hurt, it sucks because it's injury. So you're no, but it was only, but no, he ruined seasons back-to-back years. Saquon's really sucked as a first rounder. He's been.
If you picked Saquon in the first round, that's criminal.
Right. I'm trying. There's got to be more of them. Who the bust of the year? I don't know.
How about Mike Thomas?
Oh yeah, I mean, waiting out for him. Jerry Jeudy sucked, but I'd love to maybe this is a show we do at some point. We look at the 21 big board. And we're just who was the boneheaded people we passed up on, Cooper Kupp going and he should have gone in round 1. Obviously, should have gone top 3. But who were some of the best picks that were just disrespected all year versus who were some of the biggest busts? That'd be a fun show to hindsight look at my big board and just kind of rip me to shreds. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm there. We need content.
Sure do.
Brian Martinez just posted in the comment section. Allen Robinson.
Oh, Allen Robinson's a great one. Yeah, that's true. Late second, early third.
How about DK?
DK's got to be up there, yeah. Because the thing with Allen Robinson and CMC, they sucked, no doubt about that. There's no one denying that. CMC didn't suck; he just got hurt, but they were at least out of your lineups. DK, people have probably been starting this guy week in and week out. I know I've made him my lower for.
There's plenty of people, and he's going to be this week. I've already.
He's going to be this week again.
But I mean, DK, there's legitimately people that were confident he was going to be the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah.
Sure. And I wasn't far off that. I was he's easily a top 3.
You know who else, Truth? Your guy, Calvin Ridley, who you ended up with.
Oh, God.
He's got to be on that. And, obviously the reasons you hope for the best for the guy. But
I hope for the best, but he still was. That's $35 auction money I'll never see again.
Yeah, exactly. So he's up there too. Yeah. If we look at the first couple rounds, there are very few actually very good first rounders and second rounders.
We should totally do a show with superlatives, good and bad, because people want to engage and talk about that stuff. Maybe even more so than what we usually do.
We'll do some awards. We'll do an early 2022. We'll make a schedule.
Set of the year.
Yeah.
2021 Nutcracker.
What's that?
2021 Nutcracker team, all Nutcrackers.
Oh yeah, we got to get our Nutcrackers out there. No doubt about it.
All right, real quick.
Nutcracker. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be a future stud, and he's back this week. Pat Freiermuth, concussion, practicing in full, touchdown machine so far this year. Big Ben's last game at home coming up. Definitely keep it out, your eyes peeled. I think he's got to be right back in the top 15 or so, top 12 tight ends really. Tight end 1 coming into this week, and then I had a couple miscellaneous notes.
Yeah, miscellaneous stuff. We got Andrew Whitworth coming off the COVID list. He's an offensive lineman for the Rams, for whatever that's worth. Even without him, Stafford didn't really get shaken up too much his last game, but he was still terrible.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, groin injury, is expected to miss Week 17 against the Saints. And in big news, ex-Eagles coach Doug Peterson will be interviewing for the Jaguars head coaching job. So that will be the end of Doug Peterson's career.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where careers go to die. Doug Peterson, man. I'd be excited to see what he does if he returns to the NFL, though. Obviously he sucked his last year out, but he had a couple really good seasons. I think it was a killer coaching staff. He had Frank Reich, and I think Reich was really the best coach on that staff. Look what he's doing with the Colts right now. But it'll be interesting to see what Dougie P does if he gets a shake back. Look at this, Truth. We got over 50 questions already tonight. That's you were sitting here like, who's going to show up? Who's going to even have questions? But here we are. So
a lot of people are engaging on us, arguing about who's the biggest bust, which I love.
I like that. Yeah, keep the names coming in. Who's the biggest bust? We'll definitely have a show where we go over biggest bust, best pick, waiver wire pickup. We'll hit up some awards.
Can we agree? Can we agree the best pick of the draft is Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, so I was gonna say MVP is clearly Cooper Kupp. We'll probably have to just do who was the second best pick, because there's no argument.
Probably Jonathan Taylor.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because he often fell to mid-second, which is just insane in hindsight, how good he's been.
And ended up being, granted, Henry got injured, but in the absence of Derrick Henry, I mean, he has 50% more rushing yards than Joe Mixon, who's second.
Man, I remember there was a time this offseason when Quentin Nelson got hurt, Carson Wentz got hurt, and people were I forget who it was. Somebody tweeted out I was fading Jonathan Taylor before it was cool to do. It's what a fucking asshole you look like.
I know.
I forget who it was. I'd love to dig that one up. That was a really bad tweet. I should have just looked that up. It was something I was fading him before it was cool. Good brag, man.
Yeah, good for you. Well, do you remember? Let's get in the Wayback Machine and go back to week 2. You remember going into the second half of week 2, we were both Derrick Henry's done. He sucks. Yeah. And then he
had 3 touchdowns.
Rattled off 1,000 yards in the next 3 games or something.
Well, even in that second half of that game, he had
in the second half of that game, he had one of the best halves of rushing I've ever seen in my life. And we were both basically ready to write him off.
Oh man, what a weird.
And he might be back for the playoffs, dude. Look out for the Titans if that guy's back and is. I mean, if he's Derrick Henry and they come back, I mean, they've managed to do pretty well even without him.
Vrabel's a great coach.
I
love
Vrabel's a really, really good coach. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's get into the higher lower Hail Mary. Give us a like if you haven't. Give us a subscription through your account or somebody else's. Some of these bots that are giving us weird little posts on the message board, at least give us a sub.
Yeah, come on, bots.
Come on, Russian bots. Subscribe,
bots.
All right, quarterbacks. Got your hire on Joe Burrow, who I've loved all year, honestly, going against KC. Your QB8, only 2 spots higher than the experts. Guy threw for 525 yards. In a game. I did some research on this. I think 24 times in the history of the NFL had 500 yard. Someone's had a 500-yard game. One of them's way back in the day, some old school guy that I hadn't even heard of. You know who has the second most passing yards ever in an NFL game?
Is it
And he's actually on the list twice. He's gone over 500, I think, 2 times.
Is it? Would it be my era? Would I be able to
Yeah. You've heard of this guy, definitely.
Over 500 twice? It's not Manning, is it?
Don't quote me on the twice, but definitely he has the second highest.
Is it Peyton Manning?
No, his name's Matt Schaub.
No shit, really?
Yes.
What the hell? He did have that insane year when he led the NFL in passing with the Texans. I think Kubiak was their coach then.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy's he threw for 540 yards.
Well, the last time he started, it was a backup for the Falcons.
Yep.
But he got a start and he ended up throwing over 400 in that game. The guy churned out yards. It's crazy.
Yeah. Matt Schaub, he's the guy. No, wow. Roethlisberger's done it 3 times. Breeze has done it a couple times. Anyway,
wow.
And now Joe Burrow, 525 and 4 touchdowns in that game. Looked like Dak Prescott might have a game like that, but he had 322 yards in the first half, 4 touchdowns, and then I think he had 8 yards in the second half. So probably really pissed off some fantasy owners. But anyway, I digress. Burrow, you love him. What's not to love?
Exactly. And that's why I'm surprised I'm even higher on the guy, given that he's got Kansas City, 6 most points allowed to QBs. Yes, they've been better on defense, certainly these last few games. But this game has all that feelings of like a pre-playoff type of matchup where both teams know they could run into this team and they were going to give each other the best. So I love this matchup. I think they're going to go back and forth, and this is going to be one of the games of the week. I think Burrow, as you mentioned, you kind of stole my thunder there, 525 yards, like insanity, the most we've seen from a quarterback this year, probably in the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. The guy was a beast, and he's just really clicking with his weapons. I was wondering that, like, where, if you could start an NFL franchise, like, where would Joe Burrow, how many quarterbacks would you have ahead of Joe Burrow, I guess would be the question. Like, Mahomes, I know he's kind of had his ups and downs, but you'd have Mahomes above him. I would, at least. I don't know about you. I would
probably have Mahomes above him, and I'm having a hard time definitively thinking of anyone else that I would definitely rather have.
Like maybe Herbert, but I don't know.
No, I'd rather have Burrow.
You'd rather have Burrow, right? Like Josh Allen?
Maybe. I'd probably rather have Burrow. What about like Kyler? I mean,
exactly, because like Kyler and Allen, like I like what they do fantasy-wise, but
Burrow's so accurate, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Burrow.
He's got balls, like the way the mocks he plays with, the fact that he came out was like, yeah, what about that gold jacket? You know how the Ravens D coordinator made that comment? What an asshole. Burrow comes out and scores. Did you hear the whole story about how they were like, don't give him the gold jacket yet, right?
Right,
like,
right.
What do you think now?
It reminded me of when Fitzmagic came out and he had all those gold chains on and the sunglasses and talked about being humble.
The best.
Yeah, loved it.
It's awesome. But yeah, it's just real life-wise, fantasy-wise. Burrow's been a beast, and I'm clearly higher on him because I think this game will shoot out. I think Burrow will be a huge part of that. So big on Burrow at home against the Chiefs, getting ready for the playoffs. This is where he's going to really show himself.
All right. Lower, Russell Wilson. And why not? Going against Detroit, you got him as your QB 13, 2 below the experts. Not a huge discrepancy again. But, I mean, it's look, you and me kind of argued about this last week or the week before where you were saying you thought he was like looking better, and I did not agree. I mean, I don't know if you've softened on that or what, but I mean, I just think the guy looks pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't really looked good. Quarterback 15-9, 31-15 over his last few. So where I have him might even be a little too high at this point. Detroit's been sneakily like they're a bad defense. I'm not going to try to say anything other than that. They've weirdly been the 20th in terms of points allowed to quarterbacks. So a bottom half matchup, according to the actual points against number, I think that's a lot more to do because their run D is so bad. They just pound things out. But what gets Pete Carroll hornier than running it 50 fucking times a game? So I imagine as long as they can, and they sure can against Detroit, just handing the ball off and off and off again. I think we're going to have a big Rashaad Penny day. So we'll talk about my running back hires. I think it's going to adversely impact, Russell Wilson. Could he throw 2 bombs to fucking Tyler Lockett and have him go for 60 yards and both of them and just have a monster day? Sure. We could see a couple moonshots. This defense is that bad. But ultimately, I just think this is a game that they'll control through the ground, and Russell Wilson will have a ho-hum day. Give me the upside of Trey Lance instead. Give me something like that.
I think Pete Carroll's going to lose his job.
It deserves to, 100%.
Yeah, and you know something about Pete Carroll. The guy's one of, I think, 3 coaches to have won a college title and a Super Bowl. He is so close to have won 2 of each. I mean, like he
should have
came as close as you can win to winning against the Vince Young Texas team with USC, and about as close as you could possibly come to beating the Patriots in that Super Bowl with Seattle. And the guy could have 2 of each. But anyway, I digress. He's on the way out. Trey Lance, we've talked about him. He's 20% rostered. He's going against Houston. Jimmy G, confident he can play through these ligament issues. I'm so adamant about that. I almost told that news clip twice after the Wolves said it. But anyway, Trey Lance, of course, is a must-watch in this situation. If he plays, if San Francisco is, kind of going to be eliminated or whatever anyway, I say roll the guy out and see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like Jimmy G will be too hurt to play. At this point, all the talk of the beat writers, of Kyle Shanahan, of all the players is Trey Lance looks even better than he looked in camp when he was getting the hype storm of all hype storms. They're saying he's doing that every day in camp, but now it's controlled. Like he's got command, he's got poise. He's just dominating like at practice right now in a way that he has not and he's been doing it consistently. That was the thing with him, is like he'd make these highlights play, and that's what we would see, and we'd all hype him up like an insane amount. But now he's just doing that on the regular, and there's no real mistakes happening in practice, at least not to the level that they were before. So we got this this talent that's finally kind of coming into his own. Now he gets the Houston Texans. I mean, what a team to come out to and kind of start really getting your legs under you, specifically the legs, given that they've given up the most rushing yards on the ground. I almost did it again, but 100 yards, 125 yards surrendered to running backs. But Trey Lance was used like a running back. I think the guy who was just almost a top 12 quarterback his last time out there, just barely missed a goal line plunge. I think this is where we see him rocket up into the top 12, maybe even the top 5 this week. I love the play. He's only 4,800 on DraftKings too. I would be starting him. And I'm also picking him up. Like, I'm facing in the third place game a guy that starts Lamar Jackson. I'm picking Trey Lance up so he doesn't have a chance to use him, but he's only 20% rostered. Block your opponent if they might need a quarterback, because I really think Trey Lance's upside is enormous this week.
Also, just as an aside on that 500-yard club thing I was telling you about, the number one on that list, also the first guy ever to do it. This happened in 1951. Norm Van Brocklin threw for 554 yards, playing for the Rams, defeating the New York Yanks.
The New York Yanks, the football team?
Yes, that's who he defeated. Don't know much about the Yanks, but it sounds like they did not have a great defensive backfield. As Van Brocklin just surgically shredded him. 554 yards. And that was when the football was like throwing a shot put, kind of.
That's impressive. I wish there was like highlight tape of that. That'd be great.
Maybe there is. I don't know. We'll see how deep the YouTube thing goes. Let's get into running backs. Ronald Jones going against the Jets. What's not to love? You like him as your RB5, 3 spots above the experts. Also, Rashaad Penny, who legit looks really good, playing against the Lions. Running back 13 or 14 for you, 3 above the experts. Also, Singletary. I cringe a little bit at that one, but I do understand they're going against Atlanta, and he does get an extremely good run share as far as like handoffs out of the backfield that he's getting. You like him at 17, 4 above the experts. And also, if he's playing DeAndre Swift, you like him as well, running back 13.
Absolutely. You got Ronald Jones coming off 22 touches, nearly all the running back snaps. Keyshawn Vaughn did have that long touchdown run, looked really solid. And actually, I like him as a Hail Mary, as we'll talk about later. But if we're getting 20 carries against the Jets and a handful of catches for Ronald Jones, he was the running back 12 this last week. There's no way he doesn't finish inside the top 5 running backs, in my opinion, should he get that similar work. And the only reason I think most people know to shoot him into your lineups as the league-winning waiver wire pickup this year. But I'm still getting a lot of sit starts on him. This guy's as lock gets. Like, I have him above Joe Mixon at this point, not because he's that great of a talent, because he has that great of a matchup. And he is a solid, like he's not a bad player. So you give him 22 touches against the Jets, he's going to put up 20-plus points. I would write that one in, nearly in Sharpie at this point. I think he's going to smash. I also think Rashaad Penny, though, given that I was lower on Russell Wilson, is because this guy has been feasting, and I think he will continue to do so. He had, 26 points 3 weeks ago, was running back 3. Did have that dud against the Rams where he got hurt. DJ Dallas comes in, gets the touchdown. He goes back in the game, but ultimately finishes the running back 41 with only 5 points. But had 20 points last week in half PPR leagues. He's gone over 130 rush yards in 2 of his last 3 games, and now he gets the easiest matchup he has had yet this year with the Lions. He is going to smash this team. He's having himself a great stretch run, and he is also an unrestricted free agent. So he's trying to ball out and get that contract. So I love Rashaad Penny. I love the matchup. I love the production. The only risk is the fact that we've seen this guy get hurt in the first play and then you never see him again. Yes, that risk exists with him. But Devin Singletary, I know it doesn't feel good recommending him either. I know,
right? It makes you just feel kind of dirty, right?
Very dirty. But the fact of the matter is he's played over 80% of snaps in 3 straight weeks. He is one of only 6 running backs who has seen 75% or more of his backfield's touches the last month, which is the company he's with, Najee Harris, Sony Michel, David Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, and Joe Mixon. For the most part, that's pretty elite company. I mean, Sony Michel, 91% insanity as well. But that's been how it's all finished. The guy's also been the running back 16, 6, and 11 across his last 3 weeks as well in this mounted workload. And that was against Tampa Bay, Carolina, and New England, who are all bottom 5, quote-unquote, matchups on the points against metric. So now you get Atlanta, who's certainly top 5 in that metric. I really think he could have himself a really big day. And then DeAndre Swift, another guy I just keep getting questions about. Like I said at the top of the show, if he is in, I treat it like, A.J. Brown last week. It's a stud and a good matchup. I can't bench that even with Boyle at quarterback, unless we get reports that he's going to be limited and not see a full workload. The fact he's practicing in full, though, they're gearing up to put him out there. They have nothing to play for. But at this point, I think Campbell, last time Campbell had Swift out there, he rode for 30 touches. I don't know if they'll get 30, but 20-ish is definitely in play. And Seattle giving up the second most points to backs would be a great spot for the guy.
I was just looking at my notes as you were saying your piece, and the notes I had it brought up to the top of the screen. They kept going down. I was like, what's going on? And then I realized you were making the stat box bigger because you're blind.
I'm very blind. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what was happening.
Right. Running backs that were lower on Najee Harris going against Cleveland. You got him at 12. The experts like him at 9. Damian Harris against the Jags. You like him at 17. The experts actually like him all the way up at 11. Josh Jacobs going against Indy. RB 27 below the experts for you on that. I know this doesn't have anything to do with his running, but I have seen the story a couple times in the last week or two that Josh Jacobs has 9 kids.
Does he?
I believe I saw, if this is just rumor, then I apologize, but I've seen it a couple places now. Josh Jacobs is 23 years old, and I've heard more than once now from multiple sources that he has 9 kids by 8 women.
That is wild.
Again,
where do you learn your lesson? Like, you think it can form?
I don't know, and I hope it's not true, but I mean, I've seen it a couple places, and so now that's all I can think about when I see him carrying the football or doing anything. I'm just like, wow, like that guy is prolific. Anyway, that has nothing to do with football, but I thought you'd be interested to hear that.
That's extremely interesting. My God, like the question is decision-making hitting the hole sometimes, but now I really question decision-making hitting the hole at this point. My God.
One Rock has just commented, yes, it's true. Josh Jacobs has 9 kids. So thank you.
I did not know that. I don't know how that one escaped me. That is some insanity right there. Well, good luck to him in his life after football. Hopefully he saves up enough money. My God. Whew. Yeah. Poor decision-making indeed.
Sorry I derailed the broadcast like that.
No, that's exciting. That's like very interesting for me to know. I'm happy you told me. I would have had no idea there.
This is the type of stuff we can get into when there's not a football game that's coming on in like 20 minutes, right?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I love. And good to see you, One Rock. I'm glad One Rock is here commenting on it. So we'll start with Jacobs then, who's facing the Colts, who are much the definition of a pass funnel. I think they've given up the second or third most. I forget. I should have had this written down. Passing touchdowns in the league, but they've given up, I think, only 2 to 3, very low in terms of rushing touchdowns per game. They're giving up only the 6th most points to running backs, so a tough matchup in that sense. And Jacobs himself has not been very good, even though he's supposed to be in that feature workload with no Kenyon Drake. 11, 11, and 8 in his last 3 games in half PPR leagues. The running back 33, 17, and 22, but he's ranked as the running back 13 this week in a very tough matchup. That one doesn't make much sense to me. I think 11 is like his ceiling, it seems like at this point. Maybe he's just not getting sleep with all these kids. Who knows? Damian Harris is tougher to be low on, given that's Jacksonville. Like, could he steamroll for 3 touchdowns again? Absolutely. But the last time, I keep reemphasizing this point, when we have all 3 of these backs healthy, it was 55% of the carries went to Harris, 45% went to Rhamondre, and 18% of the targets went to Bolden. It was a dreaded 3-headed nightmare. Against the Jags, there should be more than enough time to bleed out that clock, run the ball. He's probably going to have 80 yards and a touchdown. If he has 2, then he ends up making me look like a fool. But ultimately, I'm playing, if I have Damian, I'm probably putting him in my lineup, but he's getting ranked as like after 3 touchdowns, like he's probably going to do that again. I just kind of want to caution people that Rhamondre is far more active than what a running back 12 should have nipping at his heels. When you look at the top 12, it's almost exclusively those 90, like 70% or more of a workload guy. That's why I have Singletary, who's probably going to see 80% of the touches in a good matchup against Atlanta. I'd rather have that than 55% of the touches in a good matchup against the Jags is kind of my logic with having him a little bit lower. And then last but not least is Najee Harris, who has 1 game inside the top 12 running backs across his last 5. He has 5, 13, 24 fantasy points, 4 and 14. So 2 huge duds, and then a few just mediocres, and then 24, which is like a week winner. So could he have a good game against Cleveland? Of course he could. Big Ben's farewell tour, though. I think they're going to come out and they're just going to let Big Ben throw as much as he can, as much as he wants in his last potential game at Heinz Field. Now, could that go to Najee? Of course, he's one of the best receiving backs in the game right now. But, when I'm getting like Ronald Jones versus Najee, I've gotten like Zeke Elliott versus Najee. The recent production, I have him just a little bit below those guys, in my opinion.
Ward just threw us $10. Says start one in the flex. Connor.
Ward, thank you so much for the support.
I know, right?
Let's get to it.
Connor, Osborne, Pollard, Ayuk, Claypool, or however the hell you pronounce that. Also, he wants to know, do you start Hurts, Hill, or Lance? Full PPR.
I would go. He asked me this one, and this is back-to-back shows supporting us, Ward. Now that we know more about Connor and that if he plays, it's going to be a pretty banged-up Connor, I'm starting to lean to Osborne. I really like Osborne. We're going to cover him. I guess we can kind of go through one of my Hail Marys at wide receiver then at this point. When he's seen 7+ targets, 5 of those games he's been a top 20 receiver. He's scored in 5 of those games. They've seen 7+ targets, and now he has no Adam Thielen against Green Bay. The last time they all were playing there, Adam Thielen had 100 yards and a touchdown. Jefferson had 169 and 2 touchdowns. So Kirk Cousins got it done. They needed to chuck the rock. I imagine that's going to be the same type of script we get this time, but no Adam Thielen. We get Osborne walking right in. I guarantee 7+ targets, in which case, again, top 20 in 5 of those 7 games. I imagine we get another after that. Compared to the rest of these guys, I think I like Osborne or Ayuk. What do you think is truth?
Oh, geez. Probably Ayuk. I can't believe I'm saying that.
You said Ayuk?
I think so, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, man. I get it. I just worry about Lance.
I don't feel strongly about it. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. What? I would. Man, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, Ward.
Yeah. And they're all so similarly ranked for me. I think today, I don't like. I'll tell you this. I don't like Ogunwunnabale. We're going to talk about running back Hail Marys in a second. I wanted to point out that he is not one that I'm interested in. 15.5 underdogs for the Pats. Could that work in his favor as a pass catcher? Maybe. Maybe he catches 7 or 8 balls. But against the Jets, he saw 17 touches, and he only turned that into 55 yards and a touchdown. Like yes, it's okay, bottom line. He's not going to do that against the Patriots. That's all he could do against the Jets, the worst run D. So I'm not into him. Pollard, I don't like a committee back at this point. It comes down to Osborne or Ayuk to me, really. I don't trust Connor at this point with his health unless we get a report that he's back in full and like normal role. If that's the case, then you go Connor, but I don't expect that at this point. So it comes down to Osborne or Ayuk to me. So then I go to the quarterback and I don't love Cousins, but I don't want to trust Trey Lance. I want to trust Trey Lance at quarterback because he's going to run all over the field. I don't want to trust him, right, his pass catching weapon. So I go to Osborne. As crazy as it is, I think most people probably have him last on this list. I think he's my first, though, Ward. That's where I'm leaning. Let us know where you're leaning, my man. And then for your quarterback question, it's got to be Hurts. Right? These are all Konami upside. Go with the guy that's just been dominant all year. He's really had one bad game, Jalen Hurts. He has more top 12 games than any quarterback in fantasy, even though he missed multiple weeks. He's just been rock solid. I couldn't go to a lesser Konami version for the guy that's been defining Konami upside this year. So I'm going Jalen Hurts there. And I love Trey Lance, too. Do you feel any differently there?
No, I agree with you completely. For the same reasons.
Last time he faced Washington, he had 29 points, just 2 weeks ago against them, right? He's exactly. Yeah. So that's the easier one. You got to go Jalen Hurts. I go Osborne, though, Ward. Thank you so much for the support, though. Much appreciated.
Hail Mary, Eagles running backs, Howard and Scott, 23%, 27%, respectively. Keyshawn Vaughn going at the Jets, 3% rostered. Not a bad move. What do you think?
Yeah, and the not Dario is what we were talking about there. Eagles running backs, I think we talked about this in the injury section. Last time out there, yes, Sanders was a huge part of this. The team ran for over 200 yards against Washington just a couple weeks ago. This offensive line is beastly, and now they're getting Lane Johnson back. They're run blocking to help. They're just demolishing teams. And so I really think whoever's getting the carries, and we know how run heavy they want to be. I pencil in Howard for 18 and Scott for 12. And I think both of them, that's enough for them to do damage on. So I like both of them in a plus matchup. If you're desperate for a running back, I think that is the first place I'd go. But if they're gone and you just need somebody to throw shit against the wall, Keyshawn Vaughn had a nice 50-yard touchdown. I don't exactly know how long it was. I think he only had 2 carries. Hold on. Let me quickly pull up Vaughn's name. Keyshawn Vaughn at the Jets. So he had 7 carries, but one of them was a 40-yard touchdown. He ended up with 70 yards and a touchdown. It was the running back 18 last week. I think this is one of those things, if they get up big early on the Jets, they're going to want to rest their main guys And I could see him getting 12 to 15 carries against the Jets and ultimately putting up another 70 to 80 yards and a touchdown, maybe. And if he rips one of those big ones, he looked really explosive on that one run. So I like Keyshawn Vaughn as a desperation dart throw. I like him as a cheap punt play on DFS as well. Intriguing guy for sure.
All right, must watches. We talked about DeAndre Swift. Obviously, if Eli Mitchell comes back, that's a must watch. Cordell Patterson, is he just going to be an early down grinder? I'm interested. I've been thinking about next year's draft. It's like he's one of the guys I'm going to have a really, really hard time kind of putting a price tag on, you know. Also, Arizona's backfield after the Edmonds blow up.
Yeah,
right?
All of those. And the thing with Patterson too, one, he's going to be a free agent next year, which only makes it like cloudier where he's going to go and what his role is going to be.
Right.
But why have they stopped using it? He was such a playmaker all year. I don't get it. The guy was catching. You come to red zone, you'd see him streaking down the field and catching an 80-yard bomb. Like, why is that not happening? It makes no sense to me. What an absolute waste of what this guy was doing at his best when they were actually putting points up on the board. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. How did it?
I feel like there's so many examples in the NFL where you see a coach inexplicably, at least inexplicably to me, stop doing something that's working really well. And you're like, well, why the hell did you do that? I heard somebody make a point the other day. They're talking about how teams will like run teams where like running the ball is what you do extremely well. They'll just abandon the run if they get down like 2 touchdowns or something. And it's like, why? You're a running team. Like, run the ball. So I don't understand it.
It's probably on Christmas Day, right? With Chubb. Like, all they needed was a field goal. And Chubb, every time they were handing it to him, was 10 yards a pop. Even on the 2-minute drill, they were giving it to him. They had 3 timeouts. Like, I get it. I get eventually you have to take to the air.
At some point, you have to.
Yes.
But, like, yeah, at some point.
All they needed was a field goal. They could have given it to him 2 or 3 more times. They probably would have been in field goal range. Baker goes and turns it over.
I mean, I've seen teams abandon it like early third quarter or something. And they're down a couple scores. It's like, but you're a running team. Anyway, let's move on to wide receivers. We were like, oh, just because there's not a game, it doesn't mean we're going to like ramble and be like, it's past 8 o'clock.
Yeah, here we are.
Still not even done. Wide receivers, Brandin Cooks, you're higher. He's going against the 49ers. You like him at 17. Experts only like him at 25. Also, OBJ, Baltimore, you like him at 19, 2 above the experts. Probably shouldn't even made the list. That's not a big enough difference.
I know, but there's really not a ton that I'm crazy different on this week. One of them, though, is Cooks.
Well, just give one 8. Then, Wolf. Just give one pick then.
Well, it's Brandin Cooks then. I did want to highlight OBJ, though.
Brandin Cooks.
Because I do think he's a sit start. But Brandin Cooks, I do keep getting questions on. Let me remind you, last time out, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, 7 catches, 26 points was the wide receiver 3. Whenever Davis Mills has played, 11, 7, 14, 13 targets, 11, 10 in his last 2. Like, the guy just becomes a 30% target share monster. He is at risk with coming off the COVID list. Does he have his wind under him? Is he going to be able to play a full smattering of snaps? Maybe. But you get Sam Fratton, who we just saw get demolished by A.J. Brown. I'm not suggesting that Brandin Cooks is anywhere close to A.J. Brown level of talent, but he will get peppered. He's going to see 10-plus looks from Davis Mills, who we talked about this the other day. He looks good. Like Davis Mills, I think you hate on the guy. I said
his whatever rating was like next to last in the NFL or whatever. But I mean, he's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, I have to admit.
Of all the rookie quarterbacks, like he might be I think Mac Jones is clearly, obviously as a Pats fan, looks the best, but like Davis Mills has shown more than really anybody else. Like I get Trey hasn't got his shot, but Trevor Lawrence looks like shit. And I want to see what he does without Urban Meyer there.
Justin Fields looks like shit.
He looks like shit too. I want to see what he does without Nagy there. So I'm not like saying Davis Mills is going to have the best career of these guys, but in terms of what we've seen this year,
he's better than I thought he would be.
He's been more promising than anybody other than Mac Jones, in my opinion. But I'm not saying I'd start a franchise with him over any of the other ones, just in terms of what we've seen this year. But as all that to say is Brandin Cooks has a solid quarterback that loves to hum to him, and that's all that matters to me. Odell Beckham, I just want to reemphasize this point. We talked about it when they were facing the Packers a couple of weeks ago. Baltimore is giving up the most 20-plus yard receptions and the most 40-plus yard receptions. So for both Odell Beckham, for Van Jefferson, guys that love getting deep, and of course Cooper Kupp, who can just go any level of the field, I think Matt Stafford's going to put on a show. I think Odell Beckham's going to get at least one of those huge deep bombs that we haven't seen in a couple of weeks from him. So I just think a lot of questions coming on him. I want him in my lineup, no doubt about it.
Anthony threw us $5 and he just said, thanks for all the hard work this year, RSJ. Anytime, man. That's super nice of you. And thanks for being here and thanks for the support.
Thanks for the support, fella. Are you in the title, my man? Like, it's always him and Austin, my two boys over there, two Wolfpack legends. They end up always facing off in the Super Bowl. So I hope that's you guys in the playoffs this time, man. But thanks so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
Lower, DK Metcalf. You like him at 29. The experts like him all the way up at 18 for some reason. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You like him at 20. The experts like him at 16. Devontae Parker against Tennessee. You like him at 38. The experts like him at 30.
Yeah, so talking about DK first, the biggest discrepancy here. Who can again, every week is ranked within the top 20. He had his best week in 8 weeks, and it was 11 points. The wide receiver 31 was the best output he has had. 4, 5, 2, 9, 6, 8, and 11 are his last 8 contests. Yes, Detroit, okay, he should go deep. He should crush them. Chicago was giving up more points to wide receivers than them. The Rams, the Houston Texans, 6 points. San Fran, who we just saw get smashed, as we talked about, by A.J. Brown, 9 points. Washington, the third most points allowed to receivers, 2 points. Like, the guy has had good matchups, and he has not gotten it done. There's no other excuses. He's on my bench. I keep getting, can you really bench TK? I've been saying bench the guy for 5, 6 straight weeks. And yes, absolutely you can. The one that's tougher for me is honestly Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is crazy. That's easier for me to bench DK Metcalf than whoever this random rookie is on the Lions. The guy has a 20, 11, 20, and 22. He's been, in terms of the last 4 weeks, he's the wide receiver 3 in fantasy. He's been a monster. So benching him is a significant risk. Seattle is a very good pass defense, at least against receivers. They're not that good, but they've been pretty solid against wide receivers. He's got Tim Boyle at quarterback. All their other receivers are dinged up, so that makes me a little nervous to this play. But I'm just so nervous that he's gotten so hot. Again, 6, 7, and 7, 3 top 7 finishes in his last 4 games. That's really hard to bench. So I guess I'm just a little more skeptical than any of the ECRs of Tim Boyle because everyone's just shooing him in for a monster game. It came against Atlanta. Seattle's a much better secondary, so I'm just kind of cautioning a little bit more. Like, he's not the lock to lineups. I think a lot of people are making him out to be, in my opinion. And then Devontae Parker. He had 0 last time out there. I get Tennessee's an easier matchup, but I will not go back to that well. And people ask me questions on him, and he's the immediate no. No way. Hail
Marys, we talked about KJ Osborne already. He's only 41% rostered going against Packers. We also talked about Gabe Davis, 23 rostered against Atlanta, which is definitely significant. The one guy we have not talked about really, and you say this is your true dart throw, 3% rostered, Byron Pringle going against the Bengals.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to just reemphasize, like we talked about Osborne, he's probably not out there, but again, that's who I'd go for you, Ward Willis. 5, 7 games over top 20 wide receiver, 3 of those games inside the top 10. Like, keep that in mind. Gabriel Davis, too, 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games, just to reemphasize for anyone that's didn't catch the early part of the show. Only 23% rostered. Like, whether you are using him or whether you're blocking your opponent against Atlanta, I would not want to see Gabe Davis on the other side facing me. And if I needed a wide receiver 3, I would love to have him in my lineup, conversely. But Byron Pringle, coming off a 2-touchdown, 20 fantasy point day, gets no love, no pickups, nobody talking about the guy. I don't see why yes, I get that, we had no Travis Kelce, that, Tyreek Hill was winded because of the COVID. I get all that. And ultimately, are both those things potentially going to change this week? Absolutely. Kelce will be back, and we don't know if Tyreek Hill will be back in game shape, but you got to imagine he's feeling better. Still, even before that, Byron Pringle had clearly taken over Mecole Hardman, playing over 90% of the snaps the week before, over 70% of them the week before that. So he was on the field for a lot. So he was the most logical guy to come in and then be that number 1 after being the one that was out there with all the other guys. I don't know that he just disappears into the background. And I already talked about how I think this game shoots out with Joe Burrow on the other side. If it shoots out, I would not be shocked at all to see Byron Pringle find the end zone at least once, if not twice, and have himself another top 20 wide receiver finish at only 3% rostered. If you're desperate, I think you can do a whole lot worse, but that is also a terrifying prospect to have something named Pringle in your lineup during the
Seriously. Wolf, you got to roll through the tight ends. I got to go tell my kid to move where she's dribbling the basketball. I can hear it, and I can see from the comments that I'm not the only one.
I don't know how I never hear it. I guess I'm just like,
I don't know how you can't hear it either. It sounds like someone's using a jackhammer like right next to me. So,
all righty.
I'm going to go talk to him.
By the time you're back, I'll be done with tight ends. I'm going to rip through these guys.
All right. I'll be back in a minute.
All righty. Tight ends for you folks. Let me pull up the solo screen here. Gerald Everett is who I'm higher on. And I get a lot of questions on him at only 48% roster right now. Number 11 in my tight end rankings. I have him +3 ECR there. He has been a pretty solid just option. And now he gets Detroit, who's given up nearly 500 yards, 430 yards across their last 5 games, almost 100 yards per game, 2 tight ends these last few weeks. Gerald Everett, meanwhile, has seen over almost 6 targets per game. He's gone 12, -1. That was awful. 10, 8, and 15. So one just week-ruining negative points, like kills your lineup. But otherwise, a very startable. 6, 8, 14, and 3 across his last 4 games. That's not bad at all. Detroit matchup, again, a smash spot for him. I really like Gerald Everett, who's been outplaying DK Metcalf. Insanity that I'm even saying that, but that is the truth. I would have him in my lineups with pretty high confidence. Noah Fant, someone I'm lower on. He's ranked as a tight end 1 by the ECR. I have him at tight end 15. Like the Chargers matchup could make this look like a foolish lower here, give up the 3rd most points to tight ends. But Fant's just been shit. 3, 5, 7, 8, and 5. 8 was a top 12 tight end finish, but 8, that's all he got you, and that's the best game he's had in 5 weeks. He hasn't had double-digit points since week 6 against the Raiders, where he had 20. He was a tight end 1. That was awesome, and there is, I guess, that upside, but we have not seen it in quite some time. My Hail Mary, obviously, again, Gerald Everett was my number 1 hire of the week. He would be there, but if not, Cole Kmet has been seeing very solid target shares these last few weeks. He hasn't seen fewer than 5. He's got 11, 7, 5, 9, and 5. For a tight end, 5 targets is no joke. He's had over 7 points in all but one of those games, so not horrendous if you're really desperate. But if you're like true Hail Mary, you want to go all the way, swinging for the fences. I think Brevin Jordan against San Fran, I mean, he had 50 yards on 4 catches last week. Not bad. He had 2 touchdowns in his 3 games before that. Not bad as well. He's been a top 12 tight end, actually. This is crazy. 12, 35, 6, and 14 is his last finishes. So he's been a top 14 tight end in 3 of his last 4 games out there. That's really not bad for Brevin Jordan at 1% rostered against a San Fran team that's not a good secondary. The last guy is Josiah DeGuara against Minnesota, 0% rostered. But Mercedes Lewis is on the COVID list right now for Green Bay. So in every down tight end role, with the way Rodgers is cooking, as we talk about with like Cobb and MVS and Lazard, anybody's viable. Josiah DeGuara could find the end zone with Aaron Rodgers. It looks like my man is back, so I'll be pulling back in here. Oh, that's a solo lookout.
That's what we're looking for.
There we go. And that's what I got for my higher lower Hail Marys both back. So that means we get on over to.
We're going to kick the mailbag off with Rob P, who just threw us $2. Pick one, Swift, Javonte Williams, or Darrell Williams.
If I got to pick one, assuming there's no reports that we get a limited workload or not fully ready to go, it's DeAndre Swift for me. He's been such a stud all year. Gets the number 2 matchup for running backs. And the team clearly wants to see what they have in him. So I'm going Swift. I love Swift here. I know the other guys are probably safer, especially Darrell. You know, Javonte, obviously I love the talent, but so up in the air with how much volume he's going to get week to week. So I'm going Swift there. I think Swift is the best option. The biggest combination of the ceiling, the lowest floor of all 3 too, though. So you got to keep in mind, like if you're like a guaranteed winner, if you just need 12 points, then go Darrell. But otherwise, I'm going for the fences. I'm going Swift for like a 25-point outing against Seattle. What do you think?
Another one. I agree with you. Another one real quick for $5. Oh man, the $5.
Generous super chats. Thank you guys so much.
Roderick Forcier, championship match. Nice job. Flex 2, standard scoring. I object to the standard scoring, but still congratulations being in the championship.
Hell yeah.
Smith, bro. Gage, Hunt, Carter, Scott, the guy whose name I can't pronounce, or Pringle. So this is his Flex 2. He's looking for one of these guys. Thanks for the help this year.
So he's looking for 2 of these guys, huh?
No,
wow.
No, I thought he meant his Flex 2 spot. Yes, Flex 2 guys. Sorry. 2 of these guys.
Broderick, man, I don't mean to shit on you here, but congrats on making the finals while having to decide between this.
Especially with this crew, man.
That's Seriously. What I'm saying, man. Wow. It might be.
Although it's standard. I mean, the standard is a lot more like, touchdown based probably. I mean.
Right. It is. For sure. I think I got to start with Devonta Smith. He's just like a talent level above.
Yeah, he's right. I agree.
Like he just seems like he belongs in a different tier than most of these. And Gage would, but certainly more so in half and standard. I mean, in half and full PPR. He does not score a ton of touchdowns, and he gets the Buffalo Bills, which is the toughest matchup for receivers. Kareem Hunt doesn't seem like he's going to play, so we can probably cross him off. Carter did have 100 yards, 118, a career high last week. I like that. I would probably lean to Boston Scott, though. I think, when you're going standard, you want touchdowns. I know it's 2 Eagles, but, we just saw Washington give up 56 points against the Cowboys. I don't know if the Eagles will do exactly that, but they smashed them just a couple weeks ago, too. I think Scott and Smith are where I'm rolling here, just for the touchdown equity, touchdown upside. If I had to go to a third, it would be Russell Gage, just because he's the best player among these guys. And maybe he does catch a touchdown when they're going to need a chuck against the Bills. But I'm leaning Smith and Scott right now. What do you think, Truth?
I would probably say I'm going to say Smith and Carter, just because I don't want to see 2 guys on the Eagles, even though it probably makes sense. If you're talking about standard scoring, 100 plus yards on the ground is actually a really big deal. Not that he's any guarantee to do that, but I guess I'd go Smith and Carter.
Because he's getting the Bucks. That's the one, one of the best run Bs in the league. But they also give up the most receptions running backs.
The Bucks are iffy, but the Jets suck. I admit it.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. Carter does seem in like a different level than like Pringle, Wale. Like those guys are just I know I talk about Pringle as a Hail Mary, but you have good.
Yeah, but it's a Hail Mary. That's a Hail Mary. But anyway, good luck, Broderick. Let us know how you do.
Yeah. Definitely. Thanks so much for the support, Broderick. We really appreciate that. I'm going Smith and Scott, but Carter's definitely a good name to consider, as is Gage. So yeah, thanks again. And let's move on to Ash Dobbs.
Ash says full PPR. I need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. I got Aaron Jones, Rojo, Penny, Sony Michel. Wow, Sony Michel, Javonte Williams, Gibson. Definitely bench Gibson there. Diggs, Jamar Chase, Antonio Brown, and St. Brown. Wow, this is a nice options, bud.
Absolutely. So Ash, it's full PPR. So, I lean receiver in a lot of these questions. You got to go Diggs against Atlanta. Like that's a no brainer. I
think you probably got to go Chase too, right?
As long as Antonio Brown, we talked about he didn't practice today, but if he's in, you got to go Antonio Brown too.
And then you got to smash Rojo.
Yep. So you got your receivers, you got your flex. As much as I like St. Brown, compared to those other 3 receivers, like that's what I'm saying. When I was lower on him, it's not because I don't like the player and I don't like what he's been doing. It's more so just like I'm getting questions like this: Diggs, Chase, and Brown. Like he's just not in that conversation for me. At least with Tim Boyle at quarterback. So I'm going those three receivers, and then we got to pick 2 running backs here. I like Rojo. It's hard to bench Aaron Jones ever. And he seems to be more and more involved lately. And last time, I just keep getting the shakes because I benched him one time against Minnesota 2 years ago, and he had 3 touchdowns. He has 20, 14, and 11 across his last 3 games, so he's been pretty solid. And Minnesota's the best matchup he's had in a long time. So I'm going to go Aaron Jones very slightly over Sony Michel. I have them 9 and 10 in my rankings, so they are neck and neck. It couldn't be closer, but I do have Jones a spot higher. Just the talent, the upside, and a good matchup for the guy. That's where I lean. Did you say the same, Truth?
I did. I said exactly the
same. I thought you said
thing.
the same as we were going there. Man, you got Penny against Detroit. You got Javonte, who's like a stud. But I can't bench Rojo against the Jets, and I can't bench Aaron Jones just because he's that damn good. So that's where I'm going, Ash. Great options. Thanks again for the support. We really appreciate it.
All right, let's really get into the mailbag. My wife's going to kill me if I'm on here till 9:30.
Yeah, so, I know we don't have a game to get off to, so that makes it. But Truth, let's say let's go for a half hour, and if I'll rapid fire at the 8:25 or 8:35 ish mark. I'll rapid fire, and you can get out of here.
All right, let's go.
So let's go,
Anthony. Big game Wolf pack. Let's go. Nice.
Let's go.
And thanks for the support, Mike Clay. He's our next guy up. Where's the thing?
I got it. Yeah.
You got it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Truth Seeker. Do you think she's seeking me or just the truth in general?
Is it a female?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I think she's seeking you. Okay. I think he's
or he.
Yeah, whoever it is. They want Gronk over there.
Thanks. Mitch Chavez. What's up, Wolves? What's up, Mitch? We knew you'd be here. We have a lot more people here than I thought we'd get today.
I love it, guys. And as we get into these questions, we didn't even clamor for your likes. One last time, we'll clamor for these likes. I was supposed to, CJ's going to fucking kill me. I was supposed to promote PrizePicks. So I do want to make sure to promote that before we get deep into your questions here, guys. PrizePicks.
You know how we can tell, though, that CJ's not watching? Because he totally would have chimed in and given you shit for that. So, CJ, watch the show.
Yeah, truth. There. But you've already seen it. If you're here live with us, you've probably seen it on that bottom line. But if not, PrizePicks is an amazing app. It's on all the platforms, Apple, iOS. and also Android, but also PrizePicks.com. Wherever you do it, easy to use, awesome interface. Our boy CJ has won every single time but once on it so far. He's up like $400 since we started this promotion. Use code RSJ. They'll match up to $100 for you. You deposit $20 and we get a nice little kickback. So it's so appreciated. Consider using PrizePicks. Again, their lines are so generous, like compared to any other prize betting app, or if you use your book or whatnot. The great thing is, let's say you do 5 props, you can get 10 times your money. So $20 on 5 props, I could win $200, right? But if I miss one, I could still 5x my money and get to 100. And if I get 3, I still get some of my money back. So it's not like your usual books where you do a parlay and it's all wiped out. You can get, different stages of prizes, which I love. I've been able to cash out quite a few times. I haven't hit 5 out of 5. I've gone 4 out of 5 a few times and 5x my money, which has been awesome. But it's such a good, fun, clean experience. They often will give you like LeBron James half points. They do all different sports too. Like obviously we're football guys and that's what we're going to give our advice on. But if you like basketball, you like cricket, like they have everything on there to do.
Love cricket.
I know, Truth, you're a huge cricket fan.
Love cricket.
So if you want to support your boys, one free, easy way. Well, I guess not free, but you deposit $20, they'll match your $20. You go up to $100, they'll match your $100, and it supports your pack. It shows that we have some loyal listeners that we can get to do some stuff. It's just so appreciated, guys. Consider it out. And again, I would not be. We've never done ads because we've gotten offers to. This is the first time I've actually gotten an app that I really enjoy playing and been able to use. So PrizePicks, code RSJ, not case sensitive, but if you like props, it is the ultimate app in my opinion. So check out PrizePicks using code RSJ for up to $100 match. Alrighty, back to you guys. Back to Truth Seeker. First time in the finals. First time playing fantasy, made the finals. That's fucking awesome, Truth Seeker. Congratulations. Best of luck.
Christian Johnson made the championship. Nice. Also very nice. Truth Seeker debating between Freeman, Howard, or Scott for flex.
I got to go Howard there, I think. Especially if it's PPR, I might lean Scott for more pass catching upside. I don't trust Freeman right now. He's back-to-back duds. I'm going for the Eagles. I'm going for that running back touchdown there.
Need 2. A.J. Brown, Cooper, OBJ, Cooks.
I'm going to go A.J. Brown. I got to keep him locked in. And I like Brandin Cooks the most. I like all these guys as booms. Cooper coming off his best game in a long time, so I can see why you'd want to go him, Andrea. But I really like Cooks. We talked about all the reasons why earlier. But I'm going A.J. Brown and Cooks there.
Me too. Mike Clay, I was up 11.5. I went against Waddle. I remember Toon said he needed Waddle to score like 14 or less. That did not happen. Who I traded away earlier in the season. Too bad I stashed the Miami D on the bye. Thanks for the recommendation. I kept the Miami D on the bye also, and I did get knocked out. But, man, they were great for me like the last 6 weeks or whatever. Put up 180. I won by 11.3. Nice job, Mike.
Hell yeah. Truth, I was going to say the most asked question we got at Old Planners and live was Chargers defense versus Miami defense. Chargers got -3. Miami got 26.
Seamus lost because of that.
I know. How fucking awful.
He messaged me and was just like clearly despondent. Like if they had gotten -2, he would have won.
Yeah, he lost by a half point. Fucking awful. But
if he had just not played a defense, he would have won. I mean, of course, how can you know that? But what bad luck. What a bad beat for our guy.
It's such a dominant season too for the kid.
It's like the Patriots losing to the Giants when they were 19-0 or something. What a bad break. Anyway, yeah.
That was the David Tyree catch right there. The Chargers getting -3. But ultimately, we did say Miami on all of those. We said Miami over everybody we got asked. So hopefully you guys all listen. Sounds like Mike Clay, you did. Really pumped for you, brother. Let's go get that title, baby.
Bo says in the championship, half point, wide receiver 1 is Debo. Who do I start for 2? Mike Williams, Gallup, or Osborne. Running back options are Mitchell, Penny, Gibson, and Edmonds. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're rolling Osborne there for your next receiver. That's at least my opinion. I don't trust Mike Williams at all. Gallup, I love the player, but just inconsistent usage. So I'm going to Osborne. I don't know how many of these running backs you need, but I would rank them Penny then first. Mitchell, then Edmonds, then Gibson.
That's the exact order I would do.
But if we get Connor ruled out, I would bump Edmonds to the top of that list, even ahead of Penny, is how
I would not, but I would bump him to second.
There you go.
Giuseppe also. But he actually just threw us another $2. Lance, Mack, or Carr.
Ooh.
Also, half point PPR, St. Brown or Renfro.
Thanks again, Giuseppe. Double dipping on the super chats. Much appreciated, brother. I got to go Trey Lance by a mile over all those guys. He could outscore those guys on just his rushing output. Never mind whatever he does as a passer there. So I'm definitely going Trey Lance there. And then, St. Brown versus Renfro. That's really close. I want to ride the hot hand with St. Brown, but Renfro is
I'm going Renfro. I just think don't get too cute, man.
I'm going Renfro there. He's just been steadier longer than St. Brown. I'm going to go against the recency bias, and I'm going for Renfro. Another super chat from Sebastian Alexander. Hell yeah. Thank you, guys.
Championship match, Rodgers or Burrows. My 3 starting running backs are AK, Mixon, Najee. Pretty good. Damian Harris and Elijah Mitchell on the bench. Switch one. And then also wants to know Deontay or ASB.
Whew. A lot of good questions here. First one first. I know Burrow is my higher of the week. I can't bench him.
But you can't bench Rodgers. Come on. The guy's what, like 37 touchdowns and 4 picks for the year or something like that?
Insanity. 34, 26, 30, 24, and 20 in his last 5 games. He's been a top 8 quarterback for all of those, top 3 for 3 out of the last 5. Like, not bad at all. You got to go Rodgers, as good as he's been there. So I'm going Rodgers, even though I love Burrow this week. Other than that, AK, Mixon, Najee, I don't think I bench. AK would have been, if Ian Book was starting again, I'd probably bench Kamara here. But otherwise, no, I can't. Harris and Mitchell are in great spots. Could one of them outscore somebody on this list? Absolutely.
Sure.
But I'm going for the 3 studs. Najee, Mixon, AK, they're all first rounders for a reason. So that's where I'm leaning. And then Deontay J or ASB. Oh, Deontay. See, this is why I said I'm on around say Brown is my lower of the week. Because yes, he's been so damn good. But Deontay, it shouldn't be a question. Deontay is such a stud. He's seen 12 or more targets in like all but 3 games this year. It gets Big Ben at home, his send-off game. Like,
Deontay is a legit top 10 fantasy wide receiver.
Absolutely.
And not like 10th, probably like 7th, 8th,
exactly.
Something like that.
So, yeah, I'm going Deontay.
And the super chats keep rolling.
Hell yeah. You guys are so generous tonight. There must be that Christmas spirit, but thank you guys so much.
Y'all are trying to keep me on the air longer than I should be.
Yeah, right.
Omar F. Wolf and Truth. I asked Wolf, but I wanted Truth's opinion. That's awesome. You're going to pay $10 for my opinion. I'm flattered. I hope I don't embarrass myself. Pick 2 between Gibson, Penny, Damian Harris, full PPR, or I can pick up Patterson if Gibson sits. Would you play him over the other 2? Actually, to me, Omar, this is a pretty easy call for me. I would definitely go Penny and Harris. And whether Patterson or Gibson plays, I'd still rather have the other 2 guys. What do you think, Wolf?
100%. Yep, that's what I told him on the Waiver Wire show. So we're in lockstep.
All right, well, he's got double confirmation.
Double confirmation, Omar. Roll with your boys here. Both Penny and Harris in top 5 matchups. Both great players that are rolling right now. Gibson, he's been sputtering into the end zone and like getting by for you, but these guys are steamrolling. Penny and Harris are like full steam ahead, whereas Gibson's like limping into the finals here. Go for the steamrollers here, baby.
Meanwhile, somehow like the group of people watching the show is getting larger. Like we were just up to like almost like 50 people.
I fucking love it, guys.
Pretty much the whole show.
As you guys come strolling in here, I love it. As we're answering questions again to get to the top of the line, toss us those super chats. We'll be answering questions for another. Let's call it. I'll be here for at least 20 more minutes. Truth, I know you might have to run before we get out of it. You might have to run there.
Might have to run.
But if you want to jump to the top and get both mine and Truth's opinion, get a full answer because I will go rapid fire soon enough. Awesome. But guys, we would really appreciate that thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of new names, which is awesome. We really want to get to that 2K subscribers. It would be so fucking appreciated, guys. If you're new here, you like what you're hearing, we'll be doing this, again, on Sunday. I'll be live answering your questions, but please consider that subscriber count. Help us get to that 2K goal. Maybe we will. I was bummed and thinking there's no way we get there, but man, we're getting a lot of new faces here down this stretch run. You consider just giving us that like, that thumbs up, and also hitting that subscriber button. It would really help us out, guys. So thanks again so much for being here. Thanks for all your generous super chats. You guys are so appreciated in this holiday season. Nonetheless, I'm feeling sick as hell right now, but man, you guys are making me help forget how sick I am right now. I really appreciate it.
Pasta Prince throwing $2 our way. Lance over Brady, Edmonds over Gibson. I'm definitely going Brady.
Yes.
I don't care what Konami upside Lance has. I'm going, the best quarterback
Brady
of all time in that situation.
Right? Like, come on now.
Right.
I'm with you. Yeah, that one.
Don't get too cute, man.
That's getting cute. Yeah.
Edmonds over Gibson. If Connor is out, absolutely. Man. Maybe
it's really tough.
Maybe anyway.
With how dinged up Connor's kind of presenting right now, like even if he plays, I imagine he's going to be really limited. So in my rankings at the moment, I have Edmonds below him, but I think I'm going to flip that because it seems like they're trending in very opposite directions here. whereas Gibson is like limping into this finals. Edmonds is running back 6, dominating as a 92% snap player. Like I'm going to go Edmonds myself right now. Even with or without him is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Look at these super chats.
People keep throwing us money. Zach Hickerson. And they're not even trying to beat kickoff because there's no kickoff. Zach Hickerson, $5, half point PPR. I need 2. Mitchell, Monty, Swift, Amon, or Brandin Cooks. I'm starting Cooks definitely in this situation. And probably Swift if he's playing. What do you think?
Yeah, this is you can tell why some of you guys are making the finals when you have to wade through these options. See, I love Montgomery myself against the Giants, like coming off a 20-point
the Giants are absolutely terrible. It's true.
They're absolutely terrible. And we've seen this with Monty before, right? He gets smash opportunities against bad defenses. He smashes them. 20 points last week with the running back 7. So to me, I actually like Monty the most here.
The PPR, that's half point PPR, maybe. Yeah, I kind of overlooked Monty. I'd still go Cooks, and then between Monty and Swift, I'd have to decide.
So for me, Monty's the lock, and then it comes down to Swift or Cooks. So we're thinking about the same 3 here. We might have them in a little bit of a different order, where I think I might go Swift over Cooks. I might go Swift Monty myself, assuming that, again, we got to keep prefacing this with Swift is that he's getting the full workload. There's no reports because it could come out. Swift is limited, or they're just going to kind of give him a little handful of plays. Like that stuff comes out. Of course, you don't play him. Then you just immediately pivot to Cooks. But to me, we are considering the 3 same players of Monty, Swift, and Cooks. As much as I love Mitchell against Atlanta, against Houston, the most generous run D, I get that. But he hasn't been playing for 3 weeks. Like if he's out there, we can't guarantee 30-plus touches with how good Jeff Wilson's looked. So to me, it comes down to Monty, Swift, and Cooks. I go Monty Swift myself unless we get a limited workload for Swift. And
you've convinced me on Monty, but I'm going Cooks Monty.
Okay. I like it. And I don't hate that either. Cooks was my higher receiver, plus 8 ECR on the guy. I think he's going to have 10 targets, probably 80 and a touchdown at minimum, maybe 2 scores. So I love these options, Zach. I personally go Monty and Swift, but it is probably safer to go Monty Cooks. Like what you're suggesting there, Truth. I just really think Swift comes out for 20-something points this week, given that matchup against Seattle.
All right, Steven, I threw us another 5. Man, thanks, buddy. Also, just before I get into this question, Pasta Prince, who we just answered a question for a minute, just posted in the comments, new to the channel, love the energy and depth. I have subscribed.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
That's the thing, too. I don't need to be a little slut begging for it.
I know, you are.
You want people that like the energy, like the passion, like the depth we go into. Like, we're not sitting here like, we just want you to sub. Like, we want fans like you that want to come, like One Rock in there, interacting with all the fans earlier. Like, all the guys that show up night and night. That's who we want. We don't want your fake subscriptions. Like, that's not what we're sitting here begging for. Of course, we want to get to 2K, but we want fans like you that enjoy the passion, enjoy the talk, enjoy the banter. Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Pasta Prince. We appreciate it.
All right, Steve, $5. Thank you. Championship Wolf. Penny over Barkley, right? Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Against Detroit.
But what about Higbee or Everett at tight end? I can tell you personally, Bud, because I had Higbee all year, and then he was either out with COVID or on a bye. I don't remember. And I picked up Everett, so I had them both on my roster, and then I actually had to play them both in my last game of the season. I played one of them at the flex and one at tight end.
Oh, Truth,
dude! I'm missing like 80% of my team, dude. Anyway, that's just a long way of saying Everett's better. And flex, Barf, Boston Scott if Howard's out, or Claypool. Love you guys.
Awesome. So Steve, again, Penny smash play against Detroit, as we just said. Like that one, Barkley's best shitty he's been. Like I get Barkley's name, but come on now. So I'm going. We're both going Penny. Just to put it in perspective to why Everett is so much of a more smash, in my opinion, he was my higher tight end of the week. So you can rewind and get more full analysis there. He's had more double-digit weeks in his last. So he's 3 of his last 5 games have been double digits. Higbee has 2 double-digit games all season.
Oh, I know.
So yeah. Like it's not even close, in my opinion. The matchup against Detroit, you're going Everett. He's been very solid these last few weeks. He had that one -1 game. Otherwise, he's been top 14 in 4 of his last 5, top 12 in 3 of his last 5. Like I'm very into what Everett's been doing. Boston Scott, if Howard's out, or Claypool. I think I like Scott whether Howard's in or out. Like they've been given that much volume to the running backs. I've gotten a couple of Claypool questions, so I do want to check really quickly because this is a super chat, and I always like to give Now that we don't give everybody our finest here, but just to make sure I'm not missing something on Claypool, but he's been pretty shitty these last few weeks. Yeah, 6, 14, 2, and 6 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So bottom 45 receiver. I think I'm going. I mean, the one thing is that Big Ben at home for his last game narrative. Like, I get that too, but Claypool's the one that's like not guaranteed the volume. So I kind of like Scott here. I don't know. What do you think?
I knew you were going to say Scott, first of all. And I was like, he's going to say Scott. He's an idiot. And then I was like, Claypool kind of sucks. And then I thought about it. And then I did kind of the same research that you did briefly while you were talking. And I think I'd probably go Scott.
Yeah, it's just Claypool's, the risk is like Scott ultimately does not have that big of a ceiling. He'll probably get you 10.
Yeah, I don't love the choice.
Claypool does have, like we saw last year, like 4 touchdown games. Like that happens with him, but not with this version of Big Ben. It doesn't. So right. I'm going to go Scott there. It's gross, but that's where I'm leaning. Thank you guys all so much for those super chats. Let me try to find where we were.
I gotta run in just a minute, Wolf. But I also want to throw in something since we're talking about this version of Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Remember, I was talking about the 500 yards in a game club earlier.
Yeah.
Most times throwing 500 yards in a game in the history of the NFL, Ben Roethlisberger, 3 times. And I remember 2 of those were back to back, like several years ago. It was 1 week. Then the next week, he was my backup quarterback in fantasy. I used those 2 games to flip him for like something serious. And then he was bad after that. It was awesome.
Yeah, he hasn't been good since. He just needed to be on your roster. Well, man, Truth, I appreciate that.
Real quick, Kevin Rice for $2. Good luck player for a bench spot for the Wolfpack.
Good luck player, like somebody that just brings good vibes to the fantasy team on the bench.
Yeah, maybe like a Tim Tebow.
Tebow's a good one because he has like the holy presence for your team. But that could also like really throw off the locker room.
No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. He wouldn't be my guy. I'm trying to think who would my good luck player be. And then I'm going to go. But let me think who's my good luck player.
I will say, as you're thinking of somebody, there's a couple prefaces here is you got to make sure you're cutting somebody that just like is useless and it deserves to be cut.
Tyler Higbee, maybe.
Higbee, a loser from your team. Like get rid of someone like that. And that's why you could bring in Tebow and bring in a godly presence and some good luck. Like, I like the Tebow call. For some reason, like McSorley, a kid in like I do like a fantasy football club at school. And some kid like made his last pick McSorley. And he's like, this is the ultimate good luck pick. And his team has been fucking killing it. So maybe Trace McSorley has some little good luck charms. I don't know why, but that was his recommendation. And his team's been very good since having Trey McSorley on his bench all year. God, I'm trying to think, like, you know who? Cam Akers, right? Like, just like he's out there in a lot of leagues. He might be playing this week. You're not going to start him, but just to like have a second round talent, a first round talent in your fantasy locker room to just be like, hey boys, like go get this one. And I'm going to be back with you guys next year type of thing. Like Cam Akers could be a good addition. And you got Akers, like he just feels like it's a good luck name, Akers. You know what I mean? Like it just sounds like acres of points, acres of green gas. Like you love what the guy's going to do. Those are my.
What about like Ridley? Bad luck or good luck?
Bad luck. I don't know. I don't think you can add Ridley. No.
I was thinking about him. Maybe it's just I want to say Ridley because he was
your team might question like quitting. I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
But I mean, I feel like it would say a lot about his character. He's struggling, and it's like I can't be on the field, but guys, I love you.
You know who it is?
That could turn into resentment, though.
I got 2. I don't even know if you can add either of these guys. One would be Frank Gore. Like, I mean, who's a better
Frank Gore? Come on,
it's
Frank Gore. That's the
if you can add Frank Gore, you add Frank Gore.
Or if Frank Gore if he has a son, he probably has like a 22-year-old son.
Well, there's a Derek Gore, but I don't think it's his actual son.
It's probably his son.
It might be, yeah. His grandchild.
The answer is Frank Gore, though. Of course.
Frank Gore. The only other one I wanted to toss out there was Blake Bortles. Like, I mean, come on, Blake Bortles. Like,
only if the game was in London, and then it wouldn't even be a conversation.
Right, but he's a good presence too. But yeah, Frank Gore is like if you can add Frank Gore, add Frank Gore.
Kevin just threw another $2. He said, "Do we go Ricky Seals-Jones for RSJ?"
RSJ, yeah. So yeah, just so everyone knows what we're talking about here, I pulled the question up. Good luck bench spot would be Frank Gore, but I do like the idea of RSJ, our namesake Ricky Seals-Jones, being there. But I will say he's never gone. I've used him in the past, being like, "My boy, Ricky Seals-Jones," the name. He's never gotten it done.
No, he doesn't get it done. But it's Frank Gore. unless the game's in London, and then it's Blake Bortles.
One Rock confirms, too. You can add Frank Gore on ESPN. Hell yeah. Ultimate locker room presence to welcome in here for the.
God, it sucks that I have to go, and also my computer's dying because I'm actually really enjoying these.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. These are the best shows where we can just like sit, like shoot the shit, and you guys ask these awesome types of questions.
Drew Brees also
we'll
added
do a bunch of these in the off season. Truth.
Yeah.
But
cheers, I mean,
man.
there's guys at least last year, like Terrell Owens was addable, and he'd been out of the league for like 5 years.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah,
I really do have to go. The Wolfpack, it's been really, really fun. I'm sorry, it's because there's no game that we're having to get off. Unfortunately, it's just been a free for all, and it's 8:40, and we're like 10% done with the questions. So
right.
Anyway, I got to go. Mitch says Gardner Minshew would be his choice for.
That's a great choice too. I love that choice. Minshew's a great one. Minshew mania.
Ward says Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles available on ESPN.
Oh, Darren Sproles. Yeah, you guys are tossing out. So keep tossing the names out. I'm going to scroll back up to the question.
You're going to keep me on here again. All right, I got to go. Wolf, it's been real. If you want me to put this together, shoot me the audio later.
Yeah, perfect. Well, you can just log in and download it, right?
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
Yeah. So I'll be off. I'm gonna rapid fire for the next.
Thanks, One Rock. Happy New Year to you also. And seriously, we're gonna be doing something all year. Loosely football related, probably, but we do like to talk.
Yeah, we'll keep like 2021 rankings will be our first show, but then we'll have like Game of Thrones character like at the end of it. We'll do like random shit like that. So
how angry are we about the final season of Game of Thrones?
Exactly. I think we keep this time too. Let's keep like Thursday because that's when our crew, like our weirdos, all gather. My lovely wolf pack here.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We'll do like Thursday, 7:00, and we'll just.
All right. So expect to see us next Thursday. Maybe we'll just talk football because fantasy will be over.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. See you later.
See you, Truth. Cheers always. All righty. So I'm going to rapid fire here. If you guys need, if you need an actual like serious, long, in-depth answer, I'm not trying to sit here and beg for super chats, but if you want to jump to the top and get like an actual rationale, because otherwise I'm just going to go off the cuff what my gut is feeling here. I will be live again though, Wolfpack, on Sunday, 11 a.m. ahead of the games. So come on back that day. But man, what an awesome! I didn't think with no Thursday night football, we were like, we probably won't get too many people. We'll be done in 40 minutes or so. And look at this. You guys are awesome showing up. So one last call. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Would be so appreciated. If you haven't subbed and you enjoy what we're talking about, we would love to have you back for more. Let's go. Crazy. Colts or Niners D. I love the Colts this week against the Raiders. I think they're going to turn it over a bunch. The most opportunistic defense in football right now. Green or Lazard or Evans doesn't become active, or should I pick up Bourne? I think Evans is going to play Truth Seeker, but I would go Bourne over the other two if those are your options. My Hail Mary receiver of the week, though, let me pull that back up because I don't know if I love Bourne either. Gabe Davis would be my number one. KJ Osborne, obviously, number one if he's not gone. But I'd go Osborne, then Davis, and then Bourne, then Pringle is how I'd rank those. I don't love Green or Lazard myself, personally. Love 2 of 3 leagues, Mike Clay. Love to hear that, brother. Be on the sidelines. How the hell did you pull that off? I'm here a lot. Yes, you are here. Exactly. You knew we were going to call you out. Should have called out Mike Clay, always here too, man. But that is unbelievable. Hill's out or limited to do that. I will definitely text you to make sure you know, Mitch. But how'd you get sideline seats? What the hell? How'd you pull that off, man? Congratulations. Running back 2 and flex for Christian Johnson, Pollard, Wilson, Howard, Boston Scott. Man, we're in a tough spot. We need 2 of them, given that Mitchell's probably back. If Mitchell's back, I don't know that we can trust Jeff Wilson. So I'd go one of the Eagles. Probably Howard is the better touchdown bet. Christian, and then I go Pollard as a good talent. It's seen 10+ points in a lot of his last games. Solid play. Wolfpack, what's up, Trey? Yes, good to see you, man. Good luck to everyone this weekend. Go get it. Hell yeah, Frazier. You too from Scotland, baby. 49ers or Dolphins, D. I'm just going to keep riding those Dolphins, baby. They are so damn hot right now. Brad, hoping my Panthers bring home. Go for it, baby. Good luck, man, Brad. Hell yeah. Hope you get your title, baby. Burrow or Brady. I got to go Brady. It's the Jets. 6 points passing touchdown. This is like the classic when Brady has no weapons, but he's facing such a bad defense that he just throws for like 5 touchdowns. Against the Dolphins early this year. That's the kind of game I'm picturing here, fella. Pick 2 for Max. Ben, Taysom, or Mac Jones. I'm going to go Taysom, and I want to say, just for the rushing upside there, I want to say Mac. Big Ben's last game at home has me feeling a little bit differently, but against the Jags, I do think Mac Jones could have a big game. So I'm going Taysom and Mac. I think it's just maintenance. I agree, Mike Clay, with AB. Trey Lance or Mac Jones, have Lamar. Yeah, Lamar's probably not playing. I'm going Trey Lance, Giuseppe. You asked that question as a super chat earlier. So I'm going Trey Lance. Burrow over Taysom, easy, right? Yes, Jeremiah, definitely Burrow. 525 yards. Oh, yeah, all day. Pick 2, half PPR, Christian Kirk, Pittman, Devonta Smith, and St. Brown. I'm going to go St. Brown, and I'm going to go, I think, Christian Kirk. I know he didn't have a great game, but he's still that number 1 there. St. Brown, I do have a bit higher than all these guys. But yeah, I have Christian Kirk. So I ranked them crazy. Look at this. St. Brown, 20. Pittman, 21 against the Raiders. Kirk, 22. Devonta Smith, not too far behind at 28. I go Kirk and St. Brown, though, so I'm going to have to switch my rankings up. That's where I rank. Mandrew's going to win us a shit, boys. Oh, he's always going to win it. He's such a beast, Brian. Absolutely. Let's play Huntley over Taysom. I have him 14 and 15. I have Taysom just a spot higher, Jeremiah. What up, Wolf and Truth? What up, Mohammed? I'll tell Truth he said hello. Serious wide receiver help. D. Smith, Patterson, Lazard, Mike Williams, start 2 PPR. I would go Patterson. I know it's been iffy, but I mean, come on now against Lazard or Williams. And I'm going to go Devonta Smith after that big game. Good matchup. That's where I'm leaning. Rico Baptiste, Singletary or Javonte. Very close, neck and neck for me. I go Javonte just very, very slightly. Rico, just such a good talent and a good matchup. Chargers giving the 5th most points. Got to jump the boat here. 2, Christian Johnson, giving us that super chat. Much appreciated, man. Thank you for the support. Ayuk, Davis, or Boyd, wide receiver 2. Ooh, this is a tough one. It's so tricky trusting Ayuk just in general this year, but especially with a new QB here. That being said, it's a QB with a rope and a bad matchup. Easy matchup, rather. I mean, Osborne's not an option. I have this ranked Ayuk 32, Gabe Davis 33, Tyler Boyd 36. So I have Ayuk just a spot higher than Davis, Christian. But if we get Sanders ruled out, then I'm going to go Gabe Davis. Until Sanders is ruled out, I can't really put Gabe Davis ahead of him. But if Sanders is ruled out and we know he's starting, Gabe Davis has been such a monster. That's who I would roll against Atlanta. So I hate to give you a super chat, wait and see. But assuming Sanders is in, I go Ayuk. If Sanders is out, I go Davis because I know he's going to get on the field and have the snaps. All righty. Let me get on back. We left off with Frazier, AB maintenance. Here we go. I love the super chats, but it does make me lose my place off. Sorry about that, Wolfpack. So we had Singletary or Javonte, which again, very close, 16 and 17 for me. You guys, I keep saying that. I promise you, it's actually true. Actually, no, it's I have Singletary higher when I look at my rankings. Jeez, maybe I need to reconsider that. Singletary does get Atlanta though. We talked about him in my higher. He's played 80% or more of the snaps in 3 straight weeks, 75% more of the touches over the last month. Singletary against the Falcons is more guaranteed. But Javonte is so talented against the Chargers. I'm going to go Javonte. Cordarrelle or Antonio Gibson. I'm going to go Cordarrelle. I don't trust Gibson, and I'd go him over Gage too. I think Cordarrelle, he's due for a couple touchdowns. Would you start Lance over Murray? No, I would not. Very close, though. D. Harris or Mitchell? I'm going D. Harris, unless we know Mitchell's locked in that starting role. But Harris against the Jags should definitely score shades. Taysom, Burrow, or Lamar? You got to go Burrow there, no doubt. Hello, Wolfpack. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, JL. Looks like rain in DC. Isn't that great for whoever plays running back 1? I guess, but man, he's been so dinged up and like falling in the end zone to save his day. I don't know if it's great, to be honest. Need 2. Jones, Javonte Williams, Penny, Darrell Williams. I'm going Jones and I'm going Penny here. Andrea. Pittman or Jay Myers or Osborne. I'm going Pittman there, Joel. Osborne will be my next one up. But Pittman for me. A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb. Oh, my good Lord. These receivers. Jamar Chase in there too, fella. Holy shit. Flex 4, sit 2. So I got to sit 2 of these guys. It's full PPR too, so that does bump up like Deontay and A.J., Keenan Allen. I'm going to sit not sitting Andrews. I'm not sitting Andrews. He's been too damn hot lately. And if Huntley's quarterback, he loves him. I'm going to sit CeeDee Lamb, and I'm going to sit Jamar Chase. Crazy, but they're the 2 biggest, like, disappearing acts, in my opinion, here. Wolfpack. Love you guys, but I need to sign off in, like, 5 minutes. Should I start Kamara for the final? How bad he's been. You can. Yeah, over those other running backs. I know you super chatted that already, Sebastian, but yeah. And Deontay over ASB for me. You won the championship with Baker. Holy shit, that's crazy. Good for you, man. Jeremiah, that's impressive because we were just shitting on him. for the last few minutes. PPR for Michael Diagiani. Need 2. Brandon Ayuk, Rashaad Bateman, KJ Osborne, Gabriel Davis. Opponent has Allen. I would say Osborne's my favorite here. And then as it came down for the other one, I was just weighing. If Sanders is out, I go Davis. If Sanders is in, I go Ayuk, Michael. McLaurin or Osborne? I'm going McLaurin, I think. I don't feel great about it, though. I would go Lance over Mills, though. So I go McLaurin very, very slightly. I have him 3 spots above Osborne. Honestly, Osborne feels safe for Texas. Lance or Mills? I'm going Lance for the rushing upside. Need 1 for flex. Penny, Williams, Dillon, or Jacobs. I'm going Penny there for sure. Definitely the realist on YouTube. Hell yeah, Wolfpack for life. I love you, Texas. Thank you so much. Dallas, Texas watches you. Good to know we're spreading out our outreach. I really appreciate it. Cowboys best team in the. I think that's a good call, one Rock. Honestly, the offense, they feel a lot like the NFC Chiefs to me, where the defense has been dominant, and that's not how they usually win games. So when the offense plays like they played, no one can beat them. When the defense is as good as they are, and if the offense does their part, I'm with you. And that pass rush, as you point out, the Bucs. Yep. So I'm with you. Yeah. Especially with these injuries. You know what? I think we did not give them nearly enough credit, One Rock. As I often do with your comments, I end up finding myself agreeing with you. So yes, absolutely. Made it to the finals, 18-point favorite. Hell yeah. Let's go, Johnny. Let's get that trophy, baby. Let's go. Commissioner's lunch. Hell yeah. Let's go, Johnny. Love to hear it. Allen Robinson, definitely one of the easiest. But Will Fuller was useless. I never was in on him, so I guess that's why. Zeke, he's had some good games, though. I know mid-season was a huge bust, so if you had him, you probably didn't make your finals, but he's also had a couple decent games out of the stretch, whereas Robinson gave you nothing. Ayuk was definitely, especially early in the year, where it's like, is this guy even going to be on the field? Ward, great name to toss out there. Bo Shipshev, wow, holy shit. And then you didn't. How does that happen? How does that happen? It's definitely something to reconsider, maybe, given that. But you had Waller, so you did go tight end early. You just didn't get the right one, I guess. Mike Davis, huge bust. Yeah, Ayuk. You guys are tossing out the big names there for sure. Gesicki or Pitts? I'm going Pitts after that 100-yard day. I know Buffalo is scarier defense, but I'm there. I would not play Davis over McLaurin or Osborne myself, brother. Mark Andrews is so damn good. Oh, yeah. Matty Ice bust for sure. Yep. But were any of us really relying on Matty Ice? He was going so late anyways. Kupp is definitely the pick of the year, though. There's no doubt about it. 5th round MVP, no doubt about it. Mark Andrews, though, is a great name to toss out there at the tight end position. A great runner-up. Kupp for, oh, man. And Deontay's been, good. That just goes to show you how damn good Kupp has been. Keeper value for next season can keep 2. Player and round and give up. Javonte 6th, Montgomery 9th, J-Rob 14th, and Akers 15th. I think you got to be Akers 15th. J-Rob with the Achilles is sketchy, but, Achilles for Akers, he's already practicing and playing. I'm leaning Akers there for you, Frazier. JT is so damn good. Yeah, exactly. Real life and fantasy-wise, and people are calling him bust. Insanity. Carroll Wilson's, yeah, somebody's out of there. I think Carroll's definitely done, and I don't know if Wilson makes it next year either. Pete Carroll's a Jets coach, yeah. How do you get worse than being replaced midseason by the Jets? I agree. Good evening, Denny Jennings. So glad you made it for a little bit here. We wonder where our usual was. Supposedly 49ers went 1v1s versus offensive. Jay Ward said Trey completed a couple nice balls. Exactly. Everybody's raving about how good he's been playing. Playing for 3rd place. Eagles going with Hurts. Hell yeah. Good plays all around. Charlie, need to sit one. Swift, Michelle, Deontay. I love Swift this week, but of those other options, I'm gonna sit Swift. Mixon or Penny, full PPR. I'm going Mixon there, fella. Jacobs does have 9 kids. Holy shit, that's crazy. Add Tebow to my bench, so Jesus will win me. I love the good luck bench ads. We were just talking about him. I think Frank Gore is a great locker room presence for your bench. Jacobs is a baller on and off the field. Yeah, seriously. He really knows how to hit the hole. Josh Jacobs taking dad off the trophy. Seriously. Learning from in the division, I guess. He learned from the best, huh? Dad of the trophy. Yeah. Dad of the year trophy. Exactly. Take care as well, True Seeker. Appreciate you being here. Not sure if you talked to AZ yet, but DJ Humphries put on COVID, so he's unlikely to play versus Cowboys. So then, yeah, absolutely. You got to downgrade them against that pass rush. Bench 1, Najee Harris, Ronald Jones, CD, Keenan, and Brown. Probably Brown. I don't know which Brown it is, but I'm benching Brown there. Waddle at 10 or Lamb versus Arizona. I'm going Lamb there, but it's very close, Christian. Najee versus Cleveland. I'm going Ronald Jones there. Happy New Year's indeed to you too. I know I said I'm okay. Devonta, would you play him over Landry? Yeah, I'm going Devonta over Landry. Yep. Michelle is just killing it at running back. Indeed. Targets, carries. And now you got Henderson on the IR. Oh, yeah. He's going to get peppered again. Mike Clay, I paid 77 for Kelsey. Won't happen again. Yeah. He just wasn't the Kelsey of last year. It was different. Yeah, the basketball dribblings. It, Wolf. Yep, Austin. I love to hear it. You guys are always, year and year. It's like Brady versus Manning year and year. Love to hear it. Yeah, the basketballs. I love it. Full PPR, need 2. Oh, we hit this one for you, Ash, in the super chat. So appreciate that. Yeah, knocking at the door. People love the basketballs, huh? St. Brown and Renfro, Giuseppe, I know you super chat us. That was Renfro. Will Rose Street swag be available soon? I appreciate you guys continually asking. I was working on it all day today. The designs are kind of ready at this point. We just have a developer that's supposed to launch the site, but he unfortunately got COVID last week, so we're a little bit behind schedule than what we were expecting. So I'll reach out to him tomorrow, Ward. The designs are all done, descriptions, all that. Either way, on Sunday, I'll give you guys a sneak peek, but I know off season, it's like, oh shit, like it's not nearly as relevant or as fun. But at the Old Planners Brewery, we gave out some of the new designs and people were loving them. So we'll just give you that preview for sure. I appreciate you guys always asking. It will be, I know I keep saying it, but it's coming. Just, unfortunate COVID situation. And I'm not meaning to skip over these. Thank you guys again so much for those super chats. I know we already hit them. If I missed them, please let me know. Full PPR, Pitts or Pat Fryer. I'm going Pitts, even though I love the Fry. Eagles, tough one, Seamus. I know, seriously, tough for Seamus. Super deep championship. Have to start 2. Treadwell, Perriman, Beasley, McKenzie. Ooh, I'll see, I know I said I was lower on Dare, but I think this is one where I go him because he could just get a lot of dump offs. And I think I just go for Beasley and hope he scores. Unless we know McKenzie's going to start, it's tough to trust him. So I'm going to go Dare and I'm going to go McKenzie. OBJ or Mitchell? I'm going to go OBJ. I love the matchup this week. Start Devonta Smith or Christian Kirk. KJ Osborne or MVS. I'm going Christian Kirk, JP, and I'm going to go MVS. I'm going to go Osborne, sorry. Osborne and Kirk is where I lean for those. What's up, Gary? Happy New Year's to you too. Merry Christmas indeed. Dreaded 2 week. Oh, man, big time. Team is looking great. I love it, baby. What D to start this week, Miami or Tennessee? I'm going Miami, baby. Ride that hot hand. Love that you subscribe, Posse. I love that you like our vibes. Really appreciate your comments and appreciate you being here. Jimmy G plays. Do I start him, Mac, or Carr? Well, he's not going to play. You're going with Trey Lance. If he does play, I would probably go for Mac, I guess, against them. Swift or Higgins? I got to go Higgins there. They both have huge upside, James. But, Higgins, you saw it, 40 points last week, right? So you got to go Higgins. Made it to the finals. Hell yeah, David. Thanks, Jay Jackson and Waddle. Quack, motherfuckers. Hell yeah. That's awesome, baby. 49ers or Saints defense. Ooh, good one here. I think I'm leaning the Saints. Carolina is just so bad. They're at home. I'm going there. Use Godwin. Oh, yeah, there you go. As a bench player, right? Like, oh, that's the ultimate one to throw out there, Andrea, is D. Thomas, right? Like of this year especially. Just like the utmost like respected guy in the league. Anybody that talked about him after the tragedy that happened was, yes, as good of a football player he was that much better of a person. Who better to add than him this year? That's a great call. I wish we had thought of that one, to be honest. I'm kind of embarrassed that we didn't. I do like my Frank Gore call, but does not even, that one blows out of the water. That's a great one. Good luck player. Calvin Ridley, I get that. And Victor Bolden, nice. Kamara, D. Williams, Edmonds, Jay Jackson. Got to sit one. It's probably Jay Jackson, right? With, what's his name? Eckler back. Like, all 3 of those other guys have much clearer paths to workloads. Oh, he's not on ESPN, so there you go. I put Godwin on my bench last year and lost the ship. Ooh, so there you go. Maybe he's bad luck. Yep, so Frank Gore. That's the guy. All righty. Drew Brees also addable. That's not a bad one either. Drew Brees, Gardner Minshew. I think that's a great one, Mitch. I love that one. Champ Bailey, Tyron Sproles. Is he really available on ESPN? That's insane, but that's another awesome one. Happy New York Truth, New Year Truth. Thanks to all your hard work. Absolutely. I'll make sure he knows you said that to him, One Rock. He's the man. See you, Truth. Happy New Year indeed. Yeah, I'm going to text him while I have you guys. Because I know I promise I'll tell him, and then I'll sign off, and who knows. So let me hear. I'm just going to say lots of Happy New Year's sent your way. We got Omar, One Rock, all the people out there. I have the draft, so in case anybody else does, I'll send it later. Colts, Dallas defense, standard league. Ooh, Jay Duvall. Like, Dallas is so hard to bench with how hot they're playing. I just love the Colts and how opportunistic they are and how bad the Raiders have looked. So I have the Colts 5 and the Cowboys 6, but that seems nuts to have the Cowboys at 6 after they've gone 17, 22, 16, 24. Holy shit. Maybe you can't bench them, especially with their line banged up on the other side. Similar question here for Sebastian. I think Eagles are the worst. Comes out of the Colts or Dallas. Now that I look at that, I think I got to go Dallas the way they've been playing. Like, they're just too damn good. Next Thursday is your wine lines for bad beats. Yeah, right? Exactly, Omar. We got to get that back going. We used to have, like, people could actually call in. It was awesome. It's fucking amazing. Need 2 in super deep league. Oh, yeah, I think we just answered this one for you, right? It's Dare and it's Beasley. It's one of the I can't do 2 Jags, right? I can't do Treadwell too. So I'm going Dare, and I'm going to go one of the 2 Bills. If McKenzie's starting, it's him. If not, it's Beasley. Friend of mine sees that's unreal to the Bengals and had the option to add. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I'm glad he's taking his boy too. That's awesome. Bears D versus Giants or Saints D? I'm going Bears D. No, you know what? Saints D is just a better defense versus Darnold. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Goddard or Knox? Oof. Neck and neck in my rankings. I have Goddard at tight end 6. I have Knox at tight end 5. I love the Atlanta matchup. I got to roll with that. And Knox is just a little steadier, as good as Goddard was a couple of weeks ago. He had nothing last week, right? So I'm going Knox. No, Disley doesn't concern me. He was kind of around anyways. I'm not concerned. I do have Everett 1 spot above Freiermuth. So yeah, and above Gesicki, above Hunter. Yeah, I just feel good about Everett. I really do. Penny over Zeke? Nope. I go Zeke there. It's close, but I go Zeke. Hunter Henry at tight end or pick up Everett or Uzuma? I know we just said, the more I think about Hunter Henry, though, he does get the Jags, and I know this one, I think I might, but he's been disappearing. Yeah, I think I go Everett over these guys. I do. Cutting Gaskin, yes. Send the message to the locker room. Absolutely, Denny Jennings. He's such a loser. No, you're not going to miss him. Happy New Year, Wolfpack. May the year bring health, happiness, and championships. I fucking love that, Denny. We should send off with that one, but I'll come back to that to send it up. Make John Madden available. Really, they honestly should, Omar. That'd be like the ultimate ad after this week. Greg Legger, Nick Folk. Oh, I'm always going Nick Folk there. Indeed. Happy New Year, Mitch. Happy New Year, Denny Jennings. Happy New Year, all you guys, Wolfpack. So appreciate you guys being here Thursday. Man, I did not expect to get almost 200 questions on a Thursday without the game. Happy New Year to you, Robert. Hoping you get that championship. Absolutely. We'll be live on Sunday to celebrate the new year with you guys. So come on down Sunday at 11 a.m., folks. We'll get to all your questions again. We'll have a good time having a couple of beers for one of our the last real Sunday of fantasy football this year. I cannot believe we've already made it, Wolfpack. Best of luck in your championships. I hope to see you Sunday, but if I don't, hope you get all the points you need. I hope you bring home those titles, baby. And we'll see you on Sunday. Happy New Year, Wolfpack. And a world full of fantasy sheep, guys. Be those wolves. Later.